and like as soon as I ended with 9, I stole it with like bonus scourge or something like that. It was so funny.
That's hilarious, dude. That's awesome. All right, y'all. We're gonna hop into game number 1. MajinBuusha is gonna chair 2. I'm gonna chair 1. 12 gauge. Sadly, you will not get a solo cast. It was requested that I find somebody, and I DM'd many people. I DM'd Vengeance, I DM'd Majin, and I DM'd Frog, and I got 2 yeses. But Majin said yes first, so
I could assume who else said yes.
You could. You may or may not be wrong.
I could also assume who said no.
You could.
I can also just be wrong.
Frog said yes. Frog's like, I can do that.
So I'm 100% done.
Yeah, Vengeance is like, bro, that's too late for me. And I was like, understandable.
Yeah.
It is a late time slot. I get it.
It is for sure. I'm able to do it because I'm by myself and I don't have to work tomorrow, so I can take this punishment.
Yeah, I got lucky that the track meet ended when it did, but I was zooming the way home. But I'm gonna set some things up here if you want to talk about some picks and bans. We have Asgard Okami, the number 4 seed coming in, and the Kingdom, the number 1 seed coming in here.
Yeah, number 1 seeded the Kingdom earned 17 points during the regular season, a set record of 7-0. Their overall record for games played is 14-3. Asgard Okami coming at the number 4 seed, earned 16 points, so just 1 point less. Their set record was 6-1. I believe lost the last set of the regular season, but I think that was more so because of scheduling and didn't necessarily need the match. So I don't even know if that's really like a real loss. Obviously, it is a loss, but it is what it is there. But overall, they went 12-4, if including that. Otherwise, probably would be 14-2. So probably would have had 18 points, if not probably 17 and tied up. So I'm expecting this to be a pretty close set based on the mathematics there. Although sometimes conferences can be swayed one way or another. Can show to be stronger than one another, but I think with seeing the top 4 teams all in semifinals, maybe that's not the case.
What I heard there is that if 12 gauge hit a couple more Thor dunks, they would have had more wins. That's what I got out of this.
Yeah, that's what happens when you only play Robin for an entire year.
But with the picks and bans here, we do have the Emoja, Hercules, Aphrodite ban. Pretty standard bans here. Are you at all surprised to see Emoja banned in this first wave for the Kingdom?
I'm not surprised. I don't think she is as strong as people perceive her to be. She's always going to be a top 5 support no matter what you do.
100%.
I don't think she controls the support meta. I think she's obviously going to continue to be good. And with the changes giving more shielding, that's a little... You can't just buy the straight anti-heal to get through that, what she was doing with the healing, which wasn't actually too much, unless you maxed it pretty early. But, I mean, every single god we see banned here has some sort of healing outside of Hubo, who, depending on the player picking it, could go, towards a Bancroft route. But I don't believe that's really that good right now.
No, there's no way you're building. If you're building Brandcrofts on Hebo, we need to have a conversation. You come talk to Coach Blaze, and we'll fix that right up for you, because those hands are not healing that much. That's pretty much what I have to say about that. Vamana has risen though into the meta, not just as a solo laner, but as a jungler too here. So getting rid of that flex picks is pretty big. And the first pick we see here is just off the riff a Kerninos pick, which I'm not always surprised to see an ADC pick first, because on my team I picked ADC first every single game of every single set, and it was a sad time.
I just think this tells you that they value the Cernados over Hell. They also, if you're not picking Cernados, it means you don't really feel like playing Ishtar, or you're trying to make sure they don't play the Ishtar by picking something that matches well into it. So I understand this pick here, but on the flip side, I'm not surprised to see Inside go back to a ROM that he constantly plays.
I mean, ROM's just good, right? I mean, you get the safety pick of, like, if you're getting ganked, it gives you that little bit of, time to dodge, roll out, get up in the air. Hopefully you get some people showing up over to your side to help out. But it also just does well into this Kerninos. Like, it's a safe pick. There isn't really a time that Rama is particularly bad. He has good lane clear. He builds crit well. And honestly, Inside's played him pretty well over the past couple weeks.
Yeah, it definitely has. So going to comfort is never a bad thing. Looking at Thor being locked in here, a potential flex pick. I know that traditionally 12 likes to wait until the second phase, but not always. Sometimes he will pick it early, and then just catch you off guard. But it looks like Horus being picked up on the other side. We're seeing a lot more Horus. We're seeing a lot more of these gods that have some sort of healing abilities. Since they got some buffs to utilities or maybe their damage outputs, a bunch of different things. I mean, look at the bands. We see Hercules gone, Aphrodite gone, Yamoja we talked about, Guan Yu. You spoke about Vaughn being flexible right now.
I mean, I do have to mention Diego's Hercules is insane. Like it is nuts. Like he just runs around. It is just a problem for the enemy team. He's literally being like, he just has Taylor Swift moments the whole entire game. He's like, "Hey, it's me. Hi, I'm the problem. It's me." Like the whole time, as Hercules. But I mean, the big thing about Horus is they changed the cooldown of his dash. They made it a flat cooldown. It doesn't, and that's huge for Horus. I mean, I think they took like 6 seconds off, and that's kind of wild. Big. But we see Kali being hovered here, and I don't know if that's a pick you pick this early.
I typically would say the same, except for this is going in the hands of Luke, and this is one of his better gods. Hebo being banned away, another one of the better gods I've seen Luke play over the years, so not surprised to see a Kali. I do think you could have got it second phase, because I don't think he's played it a ton this season so far. But, I mean, if St. Thomas gets... I mean, not St. Thomas. If Luke gets a lead with this Kali, it could be disastrous. But I'm really interested to see this jungle matchup with 12 Gauge and Luke, because, I mean... we're top 4 teams. I mean, jungle is very much going to be deciding games here, I think.
Yeah, I think if you're at any time you're in the top level of your conference or your playoffs, you are hinging on the way that your jungler plays. Especially in the current meta, I think your jungler is able to control so much of what happens on the map, especially in duo and mid, that you really have to pay attention to the picks that happen there, because a low pressure jungler could really go against you. And we see this Nox being picked up here. Do you think this is going support or is it going mid? I'm hoping it's going support, but I live in a world where every once in a while I see a Nox mid.
I think the support should be the role for this, because it's good into Horus. He can't fully combo you if you've got a silence on top of your head. You can still cast out the Shadow Walk to someone else to also continue to peel. I mean, Nox damage can be surprisingly good. However, that's not something I would pick in that spot without knowing the enemy mid laner, because Nox isn't the exact safest pick, but not exactly the easiest pick to dive either, depending on what her cooldowns are up. Second phase bans, I am expecting to see like a Merlin banned away. I think about things like Hades, that solo lane's been completely ignored unless this Horus ends up going solo, which, I mean, maybe it could now with this Nox pick. It's just that's a lot here.
That has to be Horus support. I don't think there's any way you send that god solo right now. I mean, I guess you could if you felt really confident again at a Golden Blade, but I think he brings too much utility to your mid 3v3 to put him over in solo. We do see the Odin band away here, along with the Terra, Hades, Merlin, our second phase bans here. Pretty standard. Terra, also one of those gods that's kind of risen after the big old healing change that we had. And we're going to see an Agni locked in for Asgard Okami here. And this Agni can do some good damage if you're allowing it to cast from the backline. If you get the artillery going, it does kind of go burr.
Yeah, Agni is a solid pick. He can help lock down this Ceranos from a range, can help
oh my god,
peel this Kali, but this is Chang'e Hell being hovered, so likely Hell going to support Horus' solo, Chang'e probably mid because it's Misaki. That's my guess at least. I mean, you could see Horus support, you could see Hell go solo, or Chang'e go solo. We don't know who the solo laner is right now necessarily for Asgard Okami, so this is an opportunity for them to counter pick, maybe like with some built-in anti-heal, but looks like
excuse me,
being
What just happened? What is happening right now? Chang'e and Hell together with a Kali Horus, and then we're like, Serket. There's no way, dude. There's no way.
It's one of the only 3 gods that can provide 100% anti-heal now.
I mean, true.
So that's probably what you're looking at here.
Oh
Only Odin is one of those 3. The other one being Osiris, and if I'm looking at I don't like Osiris here because yes, his tether is going to be great for it to soaking damage from Kali and Cernos, but he's not exactly the tankiest when it comes to taking all these chunk damage abilities from Chang'e, from Hell, whoever ends up being that mid laner. Probably again Chang'e, based on knowing the players, but does look like that Hell is going to support.
So, I have a thought process here. And
what's that?
If Misaki goes Blink first Relic, I think the Kingdom might take game number 1. And that's I'm hinging the whole entire comp on if Chang'e goes Blink early. Because I think if you're playing Blink Chang'e on mid, you know Chang'e probably better than anybody else does. And that's just the fact. I played with a player that played Chang'e mid very often, and they'd go Blink and just delete people. And that forever lives rent-free in my head.
I do think it's the best way to go. Unfortunately, I mean, you're dealing with a Nox, a Thor, Serket, Agni, a bunch of like lockdown CC. So if you're going to do that, you've got to play safe because you're only going to have. She's only going to have it once every 20 seconds.
Well, you know what? Thor has a wall once every 12 seconds. Fine, fine. Okay. You just dance the night away. You know.
Yeah, all I'm saying is like you avoid the Agni stun, but then there's Serket with 2 hard CCs, and then there's Nox with 2 hard CCs. I mean, I'm not saying it's definitely gonna screw over this Chang'e. I'm just saying I would be careful.
I'm just trolling, honestly. But I mean, the thing to remember here is you can dance if you want to. You can leave your friends behind.
Just dance like Lady Gaga said that one time.
But just dance. Dude, there's so many references here. Before we hop into game number 1, which comp are you liking better, Majin? This is a problem. You can't put 2 of us that make puns together. This is a time.
So to me, there's not a lot of great anti-heal options for Asgard Okami, and that concerns me with a Kali, a Hell, a Chang'e, and a Horus. So Cernos obviously going to be going into Devos or Bloodforge. Probably Devos.
Devos is the better option right now, to be honest.
Yeah, I really think that the Kingdom goes with game 1 here because I don't think there's a good enough anti-heal options overall. I mean, Rama's not going to have it. Going to just have to crit your way through if you're Rama. They could get brawlers on Serket and Thor, but Thor's not going to be there till 15 minutes plus in most scenarios, unless he likes to get a lot of early rotations and lose some lane pressure. Your Nox is not going to build it. Agni is obviously pretty good at spreading that anti-heal, so maybe that's who you got to rely on. And obviously, like Serket in the kit with the ultimate, that's once every 90 seconds or so. So being able to play around and doing that to one person is great, but you probably are going to have to ult a minion, kill it, and then try to spread it onto multiple members rather than get ultimate damage off onto somebody while that one person is anti-healed.
Yeah, I think your options are limited. I think one thing to think about is there is Envenom Deathbringer now that gives that anti-heal, gives that shield reduction. Is that enough? I mean, Rama does have the piercing shot, so I mean, that could kind of hard. But overall, I do think it's a bit of a rough time. So we'll have to see how it goes. I think this Thor, though, could go kind of hard. You have that global ability here. And then you kind of pair that with what Inside's been able to do on the ROM, and I think there is a potential of it going pretty hard here.
Yeah, it's potential. We'll just we will definitely see how that goes, but I'm just concerned about the anti-heal spread for Asgard here. That's my number one concern. Their team fighting could go either way. I mean, there's more CC on the side of Asgard Okami, so maybe if they can lock one down, it's not as big of an issue. But we're just going to have to find out what happens here in this game.
And as a reminder, this is game number 1. of the Albion Giants Sharrix Conference Semifinals. The Kingdom, the number 1 seed versus the number 4 seed Asgard Okami here. And I really think a few things to kind of keep track of is, like, you know, we've seen the Circuit kind of rise in popularity as of late. The change of the passive where you get crit on your passive. I've seen some people complain about it. I've seen some people upset about it. Honestly, I don't think it's that big of a deal. I think it's obviously the later the game goes on, it has a huge impact. But I think early on, yes, there's a minimal chance you get crit by that passive. But that's the way crit works now. And if you get that unlucky, it's just one of those really unfortunate things to happen.
Personally, I think that level 5 should be 0%, and then can start at 10 and go up from there at level 9.
Yeah, I mean, I'd agree with that.
But because, like, they were so concerned in the past about having RNG crit on gods for free, like passively.
Yeah.
And that they had to change Artemis because of that. And if they're going to change Artemis for 5%, I mean, I don't know that you should let a god have 10% at 3 minutes into the game. I don't know that I'd agree with that, but we're just going to see how this goes. I mean, it could get that way over time if it proves to be too much, but 30% once you get to level 20, that's a big deal.
I was saying, late game for sure feels bad to play against.
Yeah, you can buy one Deathbringer on a squishy, and if they can't build a Spectral, I mean, even if they do build Spectral, you're probably still going to one-shot them with the rest of your kit, right? So that's gotta be really toxic.
Yeah, Spectral just like, it finally got the aura buff that I've always wanted it to have, but it just still isn't very good. As we see 12 Gauge coming in here with a gank in the duo lane, and they are none the wiser. They don't have any wards there, and this is huge for Asgard Okami. They get the lockdown on Just Kyle, and Just Kyle on this hell is getting absolutely poked out, shredded down. There's the shell, and Just Kyle looks like the fall should happen there, but it might be 12 Gauge that gets turned around on it. It is St. Thomas picks up the first blood, and now Luke the Duke is there as well. This is huge for the Kingdom, and a double kill over in the duo lane. Both kills go onto this Kernanos early on, and that is going to be massive for the ADC of the Kingdom.
Anybody watching this is exactly why you follow that jungle that rotation early. You counter that by lagging behind, coming in, and being able to clean up what could possibly go wrong. I mean, look at what just happened. It looked like it was going to be a clean pickup from 12 Matt and inside there, but it was not. I mean, you saw, like, what is Hell supposed to do in Dark Sense when they're getting comboed by not only Circuit, but also the Nox as well, and all the auto in-hand damage coming in, and just being able to survive that long and then get the shell off and then survive it with 2 assists. That's going to be massive for Kyle going forward. Probably going to have about a half-level experience for a while.
Yeah, it was a really good play there. I think there might have been some interesting comms going on about who they need to go on, and then Mike got the lockdown onto the hell. And I think that call probably happened maybe a smidge too late to rotation on it. And I think if it goes down maybe like even 2 seconds earlier, Just Kyle falls. But unfortunately, they step up, look for the fight there, and, you know, pay the price. It's not the end of the world, but definitely not optimal.
Yeah, you hate to say that early, spend that time, and because it also means that this Collie's ahead now because of getting at least 1 assist off of that. And then being able to go farm the jungle or maybe potentially invade if those backs were probably done. The backs were probably done, though, so I doubt you got to invade off. But, I mean, look now, like, Claw's just gotten to 4. Collie's getting ready to get to 5 here pretty soon after these 2 camps.
And that's a scary time. I mean, if Kali gets a lead, Kali's one of those feast or famine gods where, like, I think she is the most feast or famine god, like, even more than Thanatos, where if she gets a lead going, her windup is just absolutely crazy. The fact that she kills a marked target, gets all the health back, can really just ramp up a team fight very quickly, especially in the 3v3 in mid. As Bajin goes in there for a little cheeky play. Unfortunately, misses it, eats a tower shot, but nothing too crazy happening. I will have to say, this is one of the few times I've watched Diego where Diego didn't get a random first blood in, like, the first 5 minutes. I mean, we still have another minute to go, but usually there's some random first blood that Diego's like, haha, funnies, I got you now.
Yeah, it's just actually we got a gank on the left side, and Luke's gonna come in onto Matt. Might not get the kill, but St. Thomas might fall down to the last breath from Sirket. 12
Oh,
gauge
this
gonna
is
find the
huge.
kill on that side, but Matt gonna get leaped on by Luke. Gonna find the kill as well, but inside is now under duress. But looks like it's just gonna be a disengage at that point.
Oh, look at this. Vectors has made the rotation over, puts damage on the Just Kyle. The Agni coming over just to secure, you know, the team's life, make sure nothing crazy happens. I was honestly expecting Might just to go dive the tower and die there for a second. Like, you know, just hoping that it's only assist that goes off. As 12 gauge is up in the air on the right side, looked for a dunk in, but this goes and picks up the totem anyway. Securing some team gold there. Little team buff happening. Oh, that's not 12 gauge. I'm so used to 12 gauge playing Thor, dude. Diego ults in. This makes way more sense now. I was like, that's a strange ult for the jungler to do. You know,
Okay.
brains firing on all cylinders. But look at this 3v3 grouping here by the Kingdom. They walk in, and now it's Luke that jumps in and then just walks away. Might get some good CC off, but nothing else really happening there.
Yeah, not a lot. I mean, that's kind of the thing right now. Like Chang'e is level 7, has Waxing Moon available for that ultimate, so that's the only hard CC if the stun is down from Holly. However, there's a massive, I think it's 30% slow on Hell's Dark stance for her too, so that could be detrimental. Normally players don't like the beads of slow, but if it means saving your life, you definitely have to consider doing so. Has Matt's got a did he split one?
I think he did. Yeah. That's huge. Yeah, honestly, that's good. That's good just for like keeping them from having the vision control there. And honestly, as a support, that's just a feels good moment when that happens.
Yeah, we can get that away from two people, and you're just taking away farm first of all from them, and then second of all denying vision at the Gold Fairy area for 2 minutes. That's always going to be a nice feels good for the support. Now, you were talking about Diego and random First Bloods earlier in his lane. I think the only reason we haven't seen that is because it is this Horus over there.
Oh, 100%.
It's one of the times where Horus is actually better in the not the laning matchup per se, but the fighting matchup. So if you're trying to all in this Horus, as soon as you hammer in, if you're going to, you get knocked up, and then you try to spin, and you get stunned out of it. So you get 0 damage out of your kit, just about, unless you can find a way to time it correctly, weave in some extra auto attacks. But so that's probably why we haven't seen something like that over there. And also seeing Bajan away play comp for the last 2.5 years or so, probably has experience to recognize what can happen in this lane if he's not careful.
And this is a little bit problematic. Diego gonna go ahead and ult out, which is definitely needed there. Good timing, honestly, because that could have been a bad time over in the solo lane. But this gives a little bit of pressure over in mid. Maybe they take it over to duo. I'm not too sure here. I do want to touch on the ADC build real quick. I mean, we see a lot of ADCs, including myself. I do enjoy what I call the movement speed build, where you go Cal into Bloodforge and then Bladed Boomerang, Demon Blade. But I do think people are sleeping on Devos right now. Devos does have more power than Bloodforge now once it's stacked. So things to watch out for. Maybe we see that later on in the set. But I do want to bring that up. And we also do see a slight difference here in the mid lanes where Doomorb for the Chang'e, Spirit Desolation Rush here for Vectors on the Agni.
Yeah, first I'll touch on the Hunter build. So I think the biggest difference is as 12 gauge is looking to wrap around.
Ooh. Spicy question? No. A little bit of bombs coming out to get some poke, but this is detrimental as Enside falls in the solo fight against St. Thomas. St. Thomas picks up that kill, also picks up the Bastions, a little nice extra change in the pocket there as a fight breaks out in mid. Nothing really comes too much of that, just Kyle eats some poke, but this sustain of the Kingdom is definitely problematic here earlier.
Yeah, I mean, Invectors is already going into Lost Artifacts, so he's not going to have anti-heal till at least 3rd item slot. I think you have to go Deso in that 1st slot or 2nd slot. I just think with it being, you know, there's only one character that's tanky, and they've got Golden Blade there to solo this Horus, so I think Divine being first would be the best in my opinion, but it's also more expensive than Deso, so maybe did not have enough gold on the back for that as well. So we'll have to keep an eye on that. But I was going to touch on the Bloodforge versus Devourer's Gauntlet situation here, and that is true that the devs, once you have it stacked, has more power. Unfortunately, you don't get that physical penetration until it's stacked as well. So
True.
if I can get Bloodforge right away as a hunter, and I feel like it's going to be more beneficial, if I think this game is going to go 25, 30 minutes or less, maybe I can get away with going Bloodforge, especially if I have 3 kills like St. Thomas has.
Yeah, I mean, I do like the Bloodforge, just not even, more so just for the health shield, right? If I get a kill in a team fight later on in the game, and I'm under pressure, then it gives me a chance to kind of turn that around and actually be relevant. Whereas sometimes Devos is a little bit hard to play around, where you obviously, it's just the lifesteal per hit. And depending on the build you go, depends on kind of what happens there. I do think the penetration's really good. I also just don't know, like, is it better to go, like, I'm a huge fan of Arrow right now, especially into Diamond Arrow as a fight breaks out here in mid. Ultimate's trade here by Mizaki and Matt, but now there comes the Death Blossom, and now Mizaki gets blown up by Vector's great turnaround, but then just Kyle picks up a kill on the Hell. And a 1-for-1 trade there, jungle for mid. And that was a heck of a little fight there in the mid lane. But look at this position here now by the Kingdom. They are just going to run over to the Gold Fury. And they have the sustain to try to do it. But Vector steps up. Vectors gets a good dash out. Matt with the root, but it doesn't matter. The beads are good for Luke. And Luke is now running it down onto Vectors. There's no help that's going to get rid of that. Inside up in the air on the Rama. And it's going to fall down into some damage from the looks of it. No, St. Thomas can't make it in time. This has dissuaded the pull of the Gold Fury, though, for the time being. In fact, it might be the whole time.
I think they should have gone right back to it. There's no Rama ult. That's the biggest thing on the map at that point in time that can steal it away. Of course, 12 gauge is known also, kind of like you, being able to steal Fire Giants and Gold Furies for some reason out of nowhere. So, is that a foreshadow? Who knows? We got to see all 3 games happen. But
Hi-Res programmed it into my account, to be honest.
Look, I just know about player passives, and that for you two, it's dumb every time. Like, I think like for a month, you had like 20 that you sent me. Like, it's just
oh my goodness, 12 gauge went for it, got blown up. Unfortunately, now St. Thomas going ham here and just going in on Vectors. Vectors is able to dash out inside. Just stepping up into no man's land right now, and that's his own jungle that he's stepping into. The chests are getting taken away here by St. Thomas, and there is no contest here by Inside. Inside just lets that farm go. St. Thomas is going to be absolutely massive at the rate this is going. I'm going to take a look at the graphs here, Majin, just to get an idea of kind of what's happening. But it's, 55... 6,100 XP and 5,500 gold difference currently, and we're about 12 minutes into the game.
Yeah, and that's all going to be on St. Thomas, Luke the Duke, and Kyle. All had kills. Yes, Sasaki had a kill, but had to share that one. But, I mean, Kyle has had 5 assists and been a part of all but one of these kills. This Kali is a level and a half ahead, and that is scary to think about because an ahead Kali is something you don't like dealing with if you're the other team. On the Pyromancer, looked like Asgard had started up, but now has been taken away from it.
Rest on Matt's getting poked out. Matt's getting ran down, and that is a dead Nox if I've ever seen one. Unfortunate there. They did have a good little dissuasion of trying to get them off Pyro. It seemed to work effectively until, everybody rotated over this Pyro, and as a group of 4 in the Kingdom grouped together, they dropped the Pyromancer, and that is another objective in their favor here.
Yeah, one thing I want to mention is the build for Matt right now. Obviously, it's pretty traditional, but for me, it feels like he kind of auto-built this because I would imagine if you do want that tankiness, maybe you go into the Sovereignty and then you have to go into a Pestilence into this matchup. It's just absolutely required to do it unless you're looking to go into a Contagion, which. It's the physical option, but Pestilence is more than likely as Inside. Rolled back right into
another humongous Rama ult here that just ends up putting him down just to try to save some time. And Aegis used too. That's one of these situations where as an ADC, if you're going to die, and there's no way Inside gets out here. Inside is absolutely going to get collapsed on right. There's no way. This is absolutely insane. Yeah, Misaki, there it is. What? Misaki misses the waxing moon. Oh my God! Thank you, everything. You can't let that happen. Unfortunately, Inside there ends up falling. But the one thing you gotta do as an ADC, and this goes for any role. It doesn't matter what role you're playing. If you're dead, and like everybody does this, don't use the Aegis. There's no reason. Like, you're dead. You're DED. You're going to go to the gray screen. You're going to go back into a fight in, less than your Aegis cooldown time. Take that time and just save the Aegis, go to the gray screen, think about it for a little bit, and go, man, at least I have my Aegis for the next fight.
Yeah, definitely a mistake, unfortunately. It's just one of those things you can look to correct going forward, going back and doing some VOD reviews or going back and getting some coaching. That's what I would look at, but right now it's looking scarier and scarier by the moment. It looks like almost an 8K gold lead. Every objective has gone the way of the Kingdom so far. I mean, 2-level lead in ADC, 3 in jungle, 2 in solo. So the side laners and the junglers are in heavy favor right now, and it's starting to look a little scary.
Yeah, this Cernanos is really doing some work here for the Kingdom, and oh my goodness, Vector's in trouble here. They get a good lockdown on St. Thomas. Maybe this can get turned around. The beats Aegis are used here, and there it is. This could be the opportunity they needed to put down St. Thomas. No, he gets away. Oh my goodness, so much used to try to take down the Cernanos, and just for nothing, you TKO him. And hopefully that gets some farm for your team going, but it just doesn't feel good. As not only that, the Kingdom, the rest of them are healthy. They're going to be able to walk up here to this Oni Fury and pick it up, and this is massive for them. This means they can go, and push even more and possibly set up a Fire Giant sooner rather than later. But one item I want to touch on, Majin, because this is the item that I always bring up about patches, because this season we've had more changes to Smite than I think in any other season, hands down. And the one item I always bring up, and I say, there's all these new items. I don't have any idea what Last Grass does, and I don't ever see it built in comp. Well, today's the day, because just Kyle bought it. And this item is kind of cracked.
It is. It's really, really good on a god like Pell, having the flat pivot, also being more tanky, giving power. 200 mana is the key part for me here. But also the passive, I mean, healing an ally god, getting that match with power, it's based off of, I think it's 10%. Yeah, you got it on the screen. 10% of their missing health for 6 entire seconds. So it's just crazy. I don't think there's a cap on that. I haven't seen that. So you could just continuously, maybe heal multiple people with your health 3 and your light stance and really proc the passive. But the blink cover from Chang'e, Waxing Moon, and then right over the top with that first.
I'm sorry, Majin. I'm gonna need you to repeat that. Was that a blink Chang'e?
It was a blink Chang'e. I believe got it second.
It was second. Look, Chang'e with blink is scary, man. I will not change my mind. St. Thomas getting dove by 3 here will finally fall down again.
Okay.
And that is something Asgard Okami desperately needed. They needed to get that kill on the St. Thomas. Good bit of gold there, being able to get a tier 1 tower and possibly a tier 2 tower in left here. But the rotation's coming through by the Kingdom, and it looks like Asgard Okami has snuffed this out a little bit from the ward vision. But 12 Gauge decides it's worth stepping up to a purple buff. It might pay the price. It looks like might get away now. Just Kyle was thinking about chasing, decides to drop that. And look at where Bajan is here.
I think 12 did it on purpose because there were several wards and clearly knew they were coming, so maybe it was just drawing their attention away from his carry and his support to make sure they got the back off for free. It is Circuit. It has 2 movement abilities, so can have some pretty good survivability. Obviously got out of that, so probably
that was a good play. Good play. I was worried about if the auto attack came through on the purple buff because I was like, oh, that slow of movement speed is going to be a bad time. Luckily, that didn't happen, though.
If you look on the map, they had wards up for Goldtree, it looks like, and they were low. They were deep in the enemy side, so they definitely knew there was 3 or 4 people coming their way.
This ward coverage by Asgard is huge, by the way, and now it's a Fire Giant pull here by the Kingdom. And Asgard Okami have to know this is going on. I mean, Diego's over here. He spots it out. The problem is, are they going to even bother to respond to it? And the answer is no. The hammer comes through. Unfortunately, isn't able to steal it away. Luke does get out, doesn't lose the life of anyone on the team here, but Asgard Okami are not only getting a tier 1 inhibit, they just started pushing a tier 2. Luckily, they're going to be able to get out here. The Horus ult comes through. This could be slightly scary here for Matt and 12 Gauge. Matt might be able to at least, you know, keep them held back for now, waste some of their time, and that's exactly what's happening here. The Nox is so good at this. Now is slowed, but now the ADC is out. You don't have to worry about it anymore. You're the only one that's going to fall here, and Matt doing the support things takes the fall there, but defends for the rest of the team and keeps them alive.
I wouldn't even have looked at that after the initial start of that. Like, Kali was coming off the path and everything, but like Matt just bought 30 seconds worth of Fire Giant not being on the Kingdom, so Matt was able to really distract them there. But I mean, the Kingdom still getting the mid tower free, probably gonna get this mid Phoenix with Matt.
Vector, some good bombs and stuns there. That's huge. Oh, 12 Gauge, where'd you go? Vectors gets a kill here, but now they have to do something to turn this around. Oh, Luke the Duke is there, and this is huge for them. Now another one. There's the double. This could be a triple Inside up in the air, trying to rain down some type of damage. Matt falls to the Kurnos. Now Inside is dead too. A double kill for the ADC and the jungle, and that is going to be game number 1 in favor of the Kingdom here, running it down in sub 21 minutes.
I honestly do not know what the hell just happened.
The Colonel, dude. The Colonel went hard.
I'm just like, wow, like they got to pick off the support, maybe they back off. No, they get re-engaged, they get engaged on. 12 Gauge gets blown up by the combo from Bajan. I just, oh my gosh, that was very unlucky for Asgard Okami for that game to end that way.
Yeah, I mean, like, it was just really, honestly, the Kingdom perfectly timed that. And that's what it comes down to. You don't often see fights that get swung that hard that early on in the game, but it was just so perfectly timed that it ended it. I mean, Luke the Duke ends the game 6-0-8. Bajan on this Horus 1-0-6. Just great plays by the entire King of the Kingdom here. Asgard Okami is going to have to go back to the drawing board a little bit here. Not that they were so far out of it that it, you know, they didn't have a chance to come back. I just think it was such an unfortunate time for a Phoenix Siege that this went absolutely in favor of the Kingdom. Not able to pick up any kills there to try to slow them down.
Yeah, I've been able to. I mean, just got the support at the end, but I mean that just was not enough, and the rest of the team just. I mean, a combined 4 deaths for the number 1 seeded, the Kingdom here. And I just look at all the healing that is done. It's not a lot on paper, but I mean, that's still 10k healing across the board. And did we have anti-heal outside of Sharrix ult? I actually don't think there was a single anti-heal item. There wasn't. Nothing on Sharrix, nothing on Thor. Divine Ruin finally got finished 3rd slot, but it's too late at that point. You still have to buy it at that point, but it should have been earlier. We grabbed a heart word instead of a pestilence, unfortunately. Your ADC can't build the crit, so I'm just I don't know. We just gotta sure up some anti-heal. We just let a team pick 3 healer gods or 2 healer gods, 3 healer gods, and then 1 that has massive healing in their passive if off of a kill or assist. So gotta go back and clear these things up if you want to extend this set to a game 3.
I'm just saying Toxic Blade exists.
It does exist.
I'm memeing. That item is not good. Do not build that on ADC.
I will merely agree that the item does in fact exist. I am just gonna say that it sucks very bad.
Yeah, dude. It's only good on like a few warriors, and that's it.
Yeah, they don't want you giving snide ideas.
I'm just saying, you know, like, you know, maybe you go over there, maybe you play like Amaterasu carry, right? You build Vital Amplifier. That item goes hard. And then you build a Shoguns, right? So you're a little bit tanky against like their support or whatever. And then you get a Berserkers, and then you go Toxic Blade. Surely that's good. I'm building it. I'm gonna build it. I'm gonna build it. I'll let you guys know.
Huh? Let me guess. You're going Ken size after that too.
Yeah,
right?
for sure. Why not?
You filthy animal.
Yeah.
You filthy animal.
And then
you want that 6 to 7%, extra free damage.
I mean, yeah, why not? Imagine I go Frostbound. Dude, okay, everybody hates on new Frostbound before we hop into game number 2. New Frostbound is kind of sick if you think about it long enough.
I'll let you elaborate.
Yeah.
I don't remember the change.
It has a rune that slows. It's an AoE slow.
Okay. So is it within like 30 unit aura or something like that?
So like it works kind of like Contagion does, but it's an aura slow. I think that's the way it works.
Is it just where it gets procced, or is it like around you as a player?
It's around you as a player.
Oh.
I think, right? Now I have to go look. I actually don't remember this.
If that's the case,
Un momento. Let's do some research real quick before we hop into game number 2. This is a good time to, if you need to take a break, grab some water, do that kind of thing. You do that. I'm going to look up this to make sure I'm not speaking false nonsense into existence, which could be a thing. Frostbound. Oh, yeah. Frostbound. Passive. Your next basic attack on an enemy god creates a 30-unit shockwave of frost around them, slowing movement speed and attack speed of enemy gods in the area by 25% for 3 seconds. This effect can only occur once every 10 seconds.
So it's around the enemy. It's not around you.
Yeah. But that's still sick.
I still like that because it's constantly on them. How long is it on them for?
3 seconds. 3 seconds, and this effect can only occur once every 10 seconds. Is that?
God, why am I so good at this? Why do I know high res so well?
Yeah, I mean, it had to be 3 seconds,
Oh goodness! I'll tell you what.
But Wingblade, who cares? No one's building Wingblade, bro.
I gotta tell you, the item that I wish would see more play, because I absolutely love it now that it's back to its original stats, is Gem Isolation being 2.5 seconds on a slow. Unfortunately, like the meta doesn't allow, like the building path doesn't allow for you to build like a luxury item like that. But I freaking love it. Like just getting gods like Merlin or Cuckoo and just having those ticks like refresh those slows. And like, yeah, you're gonna proc a Wingblade, but you can have it up again. Like you can slow them again in 8 seconds.
See, Matt comes in with the if I see that I buy Wingblade because I hit tab. And then I counter that with, that's when I sell Frostbound and I buy a whole other item because I made you buy an item.
I mean, Matt's also a support, so he doesn't necessarily care about not spending much gold. So saving the gold, heck yeah, dude. Like, let's go.
Look, if it means I get in someone's head that they have to worry that I build Frostbound for the rest of the set, I'm just like, look, and then I go buy like a Rage, and they're like, wait a minute.
Dude, I miss the Frost Dallas days, man.
Oh,
those were so much fun.
I'm going into game number 2. I'm not, no. On to game number 2.
Oh, God.
Just keep it at tier 2 all game. Yeah, dude, just like Griffin Wing.
Oh, my God.
Dude, Griffin Wing. Okay, hot take. Griffin Wing actually is not bad, and that's, you're welcome.
I think Griffin Wing is good for ADCs that can't build, so ADCs that can't build, attack speed items and get close to 2.5, so, on her, Cupid. I think it's really good on gods like that. Obviously really good on Freya because of her Pulsate, and getting all those auto attacks out, but Mage ADC is kind of not good right now. They were good for one whole patch, and then they went bye-bye.
Yeah, we love that, by the way.
Yeah, absolutely. And here we are, the second game bans here, and looks like the first pick this time is going to be Asgard Okami, again, the number 4 seed. Kali already taken off the board after one game, after it got picked in the top 3.
Yeah, I can't imagine why. It's not like Luke the Duke kind of just fragged on that Kali. I have to think, not only are going to take away the Kali here, I think you have to pick away the Kurnanos. I don't think there's any way you let that through again. Maybe I'm crazy. Maybe you just worry about the healing. But I think you put Inside on the Kurnanos here. And
well, honestly, I think Thomas is the better overall player regardless. No offense to Inside, but I've seen Thomas solo some really high level players, and I've seen him play in draft leagues, taken down Masters ADCs before. So I think that yes, while you could pick away the Kurnos, but if you got a player that you're dealing with that can do those types of things, if things go well, then I don't think it necessarily is more about the picks at that point. But I've seen inside pop off a time or two as well. I mean, we've seen it before. So um,
So
maybe you do pick away the Kurnos if you're really that worried about it. But what if we just like didn't not die to? Well, what if we just not die and do a lane at level 2?
I mean, that's true too. But I have a question. Did St.
Yeah.
Thomas build boots? That's the real question, though.
Man, that's a great question.
Was he a boots builder when they were in the game? And you guys think about that. Look, I'm in their heads, dude. Kurnos picked away here by Asgard Okami.
Yo, are these live?
John, I'm wondering at this point, dude. Like I said, as soon as I got sent IDs, I was so happy because I have no idea what gods were picked. But this is insanity. Vectors picks up the Kurnos here for inside, and these bans, get rid of the Kali, get rid of the Hell. I think those are both really problematic here for Asgard Okami Game 1, just the amount of healing that existed. I think they did a pretty good job playing around the Chang'e, especially, after the Blink Waxing Moon ult, or Waxing Moon miss. But Hibwa again, gone here, and then standard bans on the other side. Are you surprised to see Afro banned away?
Yeah, she's basically an auto win.
You think even after the nerf?
Everything is. Yeah, I mean, she's ridiculously just. I mean, she's just so good. Like, I think maybe like there'll come a time where she starts falling off a little bit, but these healing supports and like her, Hell we saw last game, which has been banned away this time. Horus, which was solo last game because of the matchup we talked about, in that duo lane.
Oh God,
flexing that over. But now we're seeing Thor and Horus picked up here. We're laning against each other last game. Now on the same team for the Kingdom. So probably Thor going into Luke's hands, and I would imagine this probably is going to be a Horus support. Now that we see this Umoja locked in, I don't think that we will see it go to solo, especially to a Hades.
This is going to be both teams right now drafting some pretty good comps here. I think Hades, this does so much, especially in team fights. Once he gets kind of that tankiness about him with all the lifesteal and things of that nature. You have Matt on this Umoja. If you have not watched Matt's Umoja, it is very, very good.
It's top tier for sure.
For sure. I think you do still have to worry about the global components of what Horus and Thor bring, but that's that has to give some time to cook. So things to watch out and think about here. I want to pose a question to you, Majin.
Yo,
did you watch SPL this past weekend?
When I got time, I did watch what I could.
Okay, so if I told you that the Gilded Gladiators drafted Afro Sasano Hercules, do you think they won that game?
I think that they are meme lords that are fighting for the wrong community, and they should have lost.
And they did lose. So
good. Good. That did not deserve a win. I hate you people.
By the way, thank you for the follow, Mike RE01. Appreciate it. We do see the Merlin locked in here. This is something we talked about last game in the picks and bans. He thought had to be banned away. How you feeling about the Merlin pickup here?
First, I want to tell you, I thought this was going to be an Ishtar for St. Thomas, but now it's possibly going to be banned away. But the Merlin, it's going to do well into this Hades. I mean, being able to flicker away, being able to provide anti-heal for free from a range. Fight Cernos pretty well with having 4 abilities that you can go into at one time, including plus the ultimate damage that you can get, plus CC potentially from that change. Can flicker away from you through a Umoja Riptide, can get out of Umoja ult with the flicker. I think it's a great overall pick here, and something that I've seen Misaki play quite a bit when she's played mid. So also pairing it with a Horus so that they can take more damage in the eye stance. That's pretty smart. Also the Thor being there probably for jungle. You're just gonna see a lot of utility coming out of this Merlin, I think, and looking at the bans for the second phase, this is the second time that Asgard Okami have banned away this Terra. So no, I'm not going to be surprised to see a banned away again here. So they think that Horus could still go back to solo in this case. Other side, Sirket, Yuwong. I mean, the 1 in 5 KD respect ban Sirket. Gotta love it for 12 gauge.
I mean, 12 gauge was getting in there. 12 gauge was doing some damage, causing some issues in the team fights there. 1 in 5 KDA, but was putting in some work. The Yu Huang ban here, not too surprised to see here. One of the safest mid laners to play in the entire game. Vector's also very good at Yu Huang, so I think that's pretty obvious choice of bans. But the Jing Wei is the ban here for ADC. I'm a little bit surprised.
I just don't think that fits. I don't know if that's the right word, but I don't know that I care if I'm facing a Jingwei as a Cernos, unless you're just like, I don't want to trade ult for ult a lot, so maybe you just want to get a different matchup. They did let through this Guan Yu though, so that's again at least 2 gods that have healing on their team. The Chang'e still available to be picked if they. Actually, no, I'm sorry, they got Merlin this time. So that's there. But looking at possibly Scylla and
they are locked in. The Ravana one trick has spoken. Yeah.
The one trick has risen. The game's over. So see, with Raven here, you only have to worry about 3 things. You only have to worry about being dashed on by Horus. You only have to worry about being walled by Thor. Not really worried about the ultimate there. You can jump on top of that one. And then Guan ultimate if you're the target, which often you're not going to be the target for that. It's usually going to be the backliner like Scylla, Cernos. So I do like the Raven here. I think that it's hard to get CC'd when you're this Raven into this XG Belanque getting picked up this late.
Yeah, I'm kind of excited to see this X-Ball, man.
So X-Ball is one of the gods that was played into Cernos a lot last season in the middle of the year, and because both do a lot of poke damage, a lot of auto trading. Right now, I think Cernos probably is a little bit better as a god than Xbalanque, but whenever you can didn't Xbalanque get his ultimate extended for the auto range on 9-1 or 10-1?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
So to be able to have that and be able to trade farther away from the
and
Cernos,
you can build Griffin Wing.
But you can, but I think the most important part here is the ultimate for the Thor, the ultimate for the Guan, the ultimate for the Horus.
I mean, the whole team. Shut the lights off.
Blind you. Shut the lights off. Make you not be able to see anything. I think this is a really good pickup here for this X-Ball. The more I talked about it, the more I started liking it. I really thought we were going to see an Ishtar here. Been available both games and just not seeing the light of day.
Yeah, a little bit surprised about the Ishtar not coming through here. I do have to say, just from casting a lot of Asgard Okami, this comp looks more like their playstyle than the last game. So I'm excited to see where this goes. I did come up with a single reason that you'd ban Jingwei. Riptide.
That is fair.
And that's it. That's all I got. Because that knock-up you could dash out of, and it gives you that extended range. But that's it. I
just more so was thinking about the laning matchup. So thinking about the team fight, stuff like that, or the ganks, that does make sense as well. But I could follow the logic there. Yeah, I'm with you.
That's all I got. Maybe also St. Thomas is just like a super cracked Jingwei player with like 90% of their comp games on Jingwei. I don't know. Anyways, moving on.
Oh gosh. I mean, well,
Jing, I mean, I agree. They said Jing was banned because the safest ADC. I mean, I agree. Yeah, she is the safest of the ADCs, but she's also like, I got a pint on her last night, so I can't even say anything bad, dude. I can't say anything bad about Jing because I got a pint on her last night.
Yeah, and Vector is like, obviously she's good when Crit is good, but like still like it's been that way for the whole year and nobody's really picked her. So I can't even like
Barra did.
I mean,
I
okay,
actually don't
Barra,
know.
but
I'm just messing. I don't know
okay.
if he actually picked her
Barra,
or not.
Barra, who played only Jingwei and Hachi for an entire season. Yes,
Dude,
I'm
could you
shocked to
imagine
hear.
Hachi, a bad god? Anyways, moving on. I'm not going to start that now. It's game number 2 of the Sharixx Conference semifinals of the number 1 seed, the Kingdom versus number 4 seed Asgard Okami here. The Kingdom is up 1 game here, but Majin, out of the 2 comps coming into this game, which comp do you think takes it?
I like Asgard Okami's slightly better. I just because, like you mentioned, it's more what they usually play like draft 4. I think last draft they got really draft diffed and then didn't answer it with anti-heal. So now that they have had a chance to think about what they did wrong and like go back into the fray, maybe we can see those changes here. And I just, the one thing that I'm worried about with their comp though is so much. I mean, is this Hades has got to be the one that really like starts a lot of stuff, because if 12 is going in and there's not a second threat from another diver,
Yeah.
I think the fights just get separated. So I'm a little concerned about that. But we'll just have to see if Diego can pop off and they're diving the back line and they're getting in there. It allows 12 to really combo with them or with something else on the map, or then I think they could do well. But if this is going to be like last game where they're just sitting in tower because the matchup's not good, and I mean this time they've got the favor, right? Like they have an ability that silences out the Talon Assault, so it's more like Bajan is probably more likely to not play as in the face, because you're not going to heal up the damage that Hades does to you, but also you're going to lose that ability, and then your dash is only like half or maybe even a third of the length that Diego's dash will be. So we'll just have to see here. I think the overall stronger pick is probably Guan, but when it comes to the team fights and the compositions, I think it might be in Asgard's favor.
Yeah, I think it could definitely go in Asgard's favor with this Hades. I think the one thing we really have to kind of spend some time and watch is the fact that there's only one magical damage dealer on the Kingdom, and that's this Merlin, which Merlin can go hard, but he does need a little bit of setup to try to get him to that point. And when there are builds where you can just build all physical damage, then pick up an amulet of stronghold, I think, some things to think about for sure.
Yeah, I'm just more so concerned. Like, yes, Merlin is one of the better mages to pick when you're gonna go for physical. Scylla's another one of those. We both see them both on the map. There's a couple other picks that come to mind, but not as well. But my concern is, yes, you have 2 healers, but when these fights go longer and they're more extended, you don't have that burst that they have coming out of Asgard. Like Hades can kill you with one shot, which looks like he's down to 1 HP himself right now.
Oh, nice dash in here by Just Kyle. Inside in trouble here. Drops down to a quarter health, popped a pot, and got some healing from Matt there, but not a fun time over in the duo lane currently for Asgard Okami. Mid lane, though, has been a nice little trading back and forth here between the two teams, with a 12 gauge on his favorite jungler, Ravana.
Yeah, his favorite jungler that the team doesn't even have to ask him what he wants in that last phase pick. They're just going to pick it for him and not give him a chance to say what god, because they know what's god that he's going to say anyway. So you just got to love to see it here. I'm also curious, and I haven't talked to anybody about this, but we've been seeing, at least in these 2 games, we've seen Eye of the Jungle on each jungler. Obviously, you want to see that on the Kali. I get that. I've never really seen it on Serket that much, and I guess until this set, and now we're seeing Eye of the Jungle on both jungles here. So, is Bubba Spear just dead? Like, is it just not good at all?
I think it's more so the fact, like, you do get some vision here, so, and there's been a lot of invading this patch. I also think Bumba's is just bad. Like, I think the problem is like, we had a meta where, like, Mannequins was good for a while last season, and really there was a point where, like, all the jungler items were pretty good for starters. This season was dominated by Bluestone up until really last patch. And now it's like, well, Eye of the Jungle, get that a little bit of attack speed. You get some ward vision. And while, yeah, it's in the camp or whatever, it's still a ward. It's still vision. And vision is good nonetheless here. Bajan under fire here. 12 gauge is here. 12 gauge picks up the first blood. Huge turnaround from game number 1 here. Vectors was on the way over too. They were going to confirm that kill onto the soul laner here. Luke the Duke gets pushed out as well. Big pickup here by Asgard Okami. 3 minutes into the game. Just a nice change of pace for them from last game, where last game they were getting, double killed at 2 minutes and 30 seconds.
Yeah, absolutely. But if we're being honest here, like Vector's rotating, I understand wanting to confirm and rotate there, but now you're behind a solo. Now Merlin's level 5. You're about 4.5. You might hit 5 when this wave comes up. Maybe then, but you're going to be behind us Merlin now, so. Just keep an eye on that. And now look at this. Merlin's getting those left camps for free at the moment, unless he can steal it up the wall, maybe?
Crush comes through.
Does he get him?
Ooh,
no. Reset. There's still one there. So got the one, though.
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of big. I think really the idea there was from Vectors is like, oh, if I rotate over, I'll get a kill. Because, like, Luke was over there too, but unfortunately was too far behind to get the assist, and Luke was too far ahead to help try to pick up a kill there, so it's a bad time.
I don't hate the idea. You just let Merlin get a
free farm
lead on you,
and that's a rough time.
And as Scylla, you need to be ahead. Like in solo lane, you're gonna be fine. You have higher pressure with the Hades over this Guan. The only question mark is, what does this Thor do? Is Thor going to sit over there? Well, we haven't seen Thor active anywhere yet, just it's level 5. Doesn't have a lot of mana. But with the MP5 on this Eye of the Jungle, probably has enough to stay out a little bit longer without having to worry about it. So can he get a surprise gank off? Nah, he's used actually a lot since I started talking about that. So probably get active base.
The one other change to kind of watch here is this X-Ball, St. Thomas picks up Death's Toll. Not an item we've seen a lot of this year. It's kind of fallen off the favor between, honestly, Cal and Arrow. I've built some pretty sick Arrow builds this year so far where you go Diamond Arrow and get that extra pin. But we don't see a lot of Death Toll with even though it has the built-in sustain. Do you think this means we're going to see a Devos here for St. Thomas over the Bloodforge?
I do think so. I also think the Death Toll is because of how much mana it costs for you to keep your one active.
Yep.
With the branching bolas, and you need the branching bolas fighting for the Cernanos. So, St. Thomas getting a small lead here is able to still, no matter whether it's Kyle, no matter whether it's Death Toll, able to get a small smidge of a lead here. But this Death Toll, I mean, it makes it possible for you to keep that one on for a long, long time and not have to worry about the mana sustain that you would lack. So I do like the idea of going this Death Toll. Cal only gives you 5 MP5, I'm pretty sure, so you don't really get
very,
that
very
much.
minimal.
Yeah, you don't get a lot of value out of it. I mean, honestly, if Cal got 10 MP5, you would never see any other starter item built for these hunters anyway. Except for maybe the X-Ball. But Diego finding a kill over on the right-hand side. Looks like it was finished up with that dash there now.
Luke was just over here. Luke was just over here hovering because I'd been watching the map and like waiting for something to happen. And then Diego's just like, haha, funnies, I get solo kill now. That's what I get for not just going over there. That's on me.
Well, I think Luke needs to be focused on the side that he can do something with.
Yeah, you can't do anything against this Hades.
Yeah, you can't do anything against Hades. He's going to heal everything up. He's never going to be low enough for you to really engage on without already being engaged on. So you really should be looking at the Cernanos that's been up in lane, has not had a deep enough ward to the pathing that was taken. Now you know that this Thor's over here, but you're already backing anyway. But the way he took from across mid lane to those back camps and up to purple, no vision there for Asgard Okami. So if he could have gotten just a tad bit closer, actually there is one just past that purple buff. So even if, but even so, like most of the time, these two are going to be fighting middle lane or closer to the Kingdom's power, tier 1 tower and the duo side, so you could still get that ult off. What's going on in mid?
Yeah, I'm just confused by many things right now. I think if you're backing, definitely try to get that wave first. Give up a good bit of XP here for Inside, who's already down a little bit here to St. Thomas, who did pick up the Blood Forge with that Death Toll. A little bit surprised to see that over the Devos here, but I think sometimes you just gotta do what you gotta do. I don't dislike this at all. I still think it gives you a lot of power. It gives you that health shield opportunity here. And really, it's going to feel good on X-Ball. The one thing I was going to talk about is I casted Sharrix some Sharrix games the other day for playoffs. And this Death Toll was built in those games too. So it's just odd to see it valued so much here. As Luke goes up, they're going to try to dive Diego here. And I think Diego is in the know. There's the dunk. There's the hammer. Nothing of it connects. And Diego lives to see another day, but not just lives, 100% health without any issues whatsoever, as just Kyle's kind of stepping up in a weird spot here in the mid.
I just think that he's looking at the wrong side of the map again. Like, what are you going to do with this Hades? I mean, he was unfortunately just out of range to dunk on top of him, but even then...
He's 100% health.
He's 100% health.
With Doom Orb and Vampiric Shroud. Like, I think if you're Luke, you have to switch it up, and I think right now... your easiest target to put even further behind is, Inside. Inside just caught up, who about a half level behind this X-Ball. I think that's your opportunity, especially with X-Ball being there. You you turn out the lights and boom, dunk on in. You could do the same thing to Scylla. I only think diving 12 gauge is a good idea. I guess you could do that if you really, really wanted to, but I don't think it's the move.
Yeah, not so sure about that. I mean, we're 9 minutes in, almost 10 minutes in, have not seen the darkness come out for the map from St. Thomas, but Luke actually taking the wrong side of the poke trade here. 12 gauge going to show up and take away a third of his HP more, if not slightly more. Matt's pressed up, but no Omi, so got to be careful here. Does get a second one, throws a bubble off, but not going to really find a connection here.
Just some strange positioning here. I mean, I can't decide, like, are they going to try, what are they trying to play for here? Looks like they're trying to figure out, can they pull Gold Fury? And right now, I mean, they definitely could. The only thing they have to worry about is this Merlin, but they don't have wards deep enough to actually know where the Kingdom is at. And instead, we'll back off here. Matt going back to mid with the Vectors. And Vectors, didn't recover here. Both of them are level 11. Matt actually has a little bit of a lead in support. But it's Diego with the 1 level leave over in solo that's become a little bit of a problem here, causing Luke to focus probably a little too much pressure on this side of the map. And I don't know if you can really call it pressure if Diego hasn't received any damage yet.
Yeah, I would say it's been more visitation than anything. You visited that lane as in the air. It comes down right onto Matt, throws the combo out fully. And do they get him picked off? No, but 12 gauge gonna find a kill with the help of that I'm a monster.
12 gauge going for more. They're looking for Mizaki here. Just Kyle has to ult out. 12 gauge was able to pick up the kill there based without the I'm the monster. Matt was being looked at, but way too healthy to dive at this point. A good little combination there by Vectors and 12 gauge to turn around and save Matt. They supported the support, some would say.
They did. I thought Matt might die there. See what it did there. But yeah, I thought he was gone. I really did. And he just found a way through his teammates to be able to survive that. That's the difference between having this Merlin versus having a Scylla. The Merlin is going to have that long, constant poke damage, but nothing that's really going to kill you right away. The Scylla, with having that crush available, if on the other team, probably helps get that kill for the Kingdom. So I think where this Misaki does perform very well in Asgard traditionally, I think in this comp where you're going something like this, it's just harder to kill when you don't have something in this current meta that's going to do as much damage as possible, as fast as possible. However, there's the other side of it, and you can say, well, they have a horse, so the horse is reducing procs. You could say that they're also going to reduce procs with Misaki here. But look at this combo to the void combo, half the health, if not more.
He wanted Misaki so bad there. But look at this position here by St. Thomas rotating over to mid. Kyle eats a root here, and Vectors has to dash over the wall. St. Thomas being able to rotate to mid here is a little bit strange. Not something we generally see out of ADCs. But now St. Thomas could be causing a drastic problem here. They're calling out the pings on the Luke, but St. Thomas, quits pathing behind inside there. I thought, it might get a cheeky little play. Instead, it's a fight between the duo laners. It's going to end up in just, looks like a nice little 1v1. Shouldn't be too much of a trade. Actually, is St. Thomas going to go for this? Is St. Thomas going to go for the solo pickup?
He
no
might.
way,
the dash
right?
is down for a little bit though, so I don't think could really commit to that. Does have the ultimate, so I think that inside still had dash that entire time. I didn't see a dash in. I saw an aggression and a Bramble Blast thrown out to start that off, but there wasn't. I don't think I saw a charge whatsoever. So makes sense there. But the damage coming out onto Matt, they just can't kill Matt because he's got 2 levels up on Kyle. It's just. What are you supposed to do?
The Kingdom pulling the Gold Fear here. They pushed out Matt, but now look at just Kyle's low here on the Horus. This could be actually huge for either team. Inside falling low. There's the Aegis. They can't make it in time to save him. St. Thomas picks up the kill. Vectors makes a rotation over, puts down just Kyle, and now it's a 3v3 here for Kingdom and Asgard Okami. The question is do Asgard Okami want to go to pursuit? They do. The blink in by 12 gauge, looking for the kill. Masaki jumps on into Luke, the Duke onto the Thor, and 12 gauge eats a good bit of damage. Vectors with I'm the Monster on St. Thomas pokes him out. Good pickup here by Diego onto St. Thomas. And this is swinging in Asgard's favor. Nice. They do have to worry. Matt does need to be able to get out. Low health here. 12 gauge rotates back in. 12 gauge could be in trouble. Eats a lot of damage. Bejan onto the ultimate, but Diego picks up another kill on Luke to do. The crush comes through. It's just trades across the board. The game has become an absolute arena match as Diego picks up a triple kill. Diego could be going for more. Decides that isn't the case here, backs off a smidge, then heals back up. Vectors and Diego live for Asgard Okami, and 3 fall on the side of the Kingdom.
Do you ever just rotate out a solo lane? Just chilling the whole time, like seeing a Thor dog not really connected to you, Thor's kind of just waving, and then all of a sudden you rotate the mid lane and just get a triple kill? Like that's exactly what happened. The Horus coming in with Bajan here. Knocks them all off of the Fury, but is what's going to happen? Because
Asgard confirm it.
Gonna find inside, but Asgard do confirm it, as you said, but gonna lose 2 to Bajan here after the fact.
Wait, Vectors has ult. Vectors, I thought, is Vectors going to go for it? Vectors going for the I'm the Monster here. This could be absolutely huge. And there's not a position for it. No, isn't able to find it. If they could have just came up and found where Bajan was, I think it would have been a kill and a reset for more damage.
Yeah, but, it's just like the whole theory about if a tree falls in the forest, does it even make a sound?
Yeah.
Nobody
no one knows. No one knows.
No one knows that Vectors doesn't have ultimate now, so I'm not too concerned about
jump in here by 12 gauge, and the support picks up the kill. Let's go. Matt on the board here at 1-1 and 3 on the Emoja.
Yeah, does pick it up. Actually, looking at St. Thomas did go the non-Devos route, went right back to those Bloodforge, and Kingdom pick up that Pyromancer as I speak about that. So Devos just not even thought about it. It's just straight Bloodforge nowadays.
Yeah, I'm still just so surprised by that. I think Devos does go really hard here. I think it's still an item that's being slept upon, but I think, we'll get some more time in the kitchen, let it cook a little bit longer. Maybe we'll end up seeing it some more. I do want to touch on the fact here that Diego's been kind of popping off on this hit. He's 4-1 and 1.
Vectors thought Thor was in the air. Oh, that's so funny. I was like, why is Crush on the ground? Oh, that's what you thought. Never mind.
Yeah.
I got you. that was funny.
Hey, sometimes it's better to, prepare, Just follow the 6 P's. Prior planning prevents piss poor performance, okay?
Oh, well, now we're blaming the support. Okay.
Yeah, you know.
Okay.
It's Matt's fault. Matt got a kill, and then Matt told him his ult's coming. Matt this, Matt that. You know, it's crazy.
Oh,
You know, it's a sad time
great.
when you're the support and your ADC has less kills than you. Could be me. Just throwing that out there.
Oh gosh, that's just I'm not gonna touch that one. Never mind. I'll leave that be. I'll leave that be.
Yo, St. Thomas, stop in the back here. Gotta love it, dude.
Yeah, it's just casual smite play there. Just like you
Oh,
want it back
no.
right now. What if I make you back with more gold instead?
12
What
gauge
if I did that?
12 gauge just fighting that ward like it is his job. I think it took 6 autos there. I'm not gonna rewind the video to find out, but it might have taken 6 autos there to hit that ward. Just a few too many. But look at this. They want St. Thomas. Matt diving. 12 gauge from behind. Hits the root. 12 gauge is in absolute trouble here. How much do they commit here? The ultimate from Ravana's there. The Aegis is there. Oh my goodness. They commit everything. And they get nothing besides a Beads Aegis. That is not optimal, but you know, sometimes it's just the way of the road. Mizaki is now coming in looking for more. Inside could be in trouble here as there is damage being pumped into him, but it's not enough to really make him care too much. Look at what Just Kyle is, though, on this Horus. Horus does have an ultimate, could start channeling it and bring in part of the team. Doesn't look like that's going to be an option right now, though. Mizaki and St. Thomas are in an area around this Horus, but
I think instead you try to see if you can get established pressure on this Primal Fury. The only person up right now in the area would be 12 gauge. I don't know that they know that because they're not walking to him. They're walking the other direction towards Vector. So, but they did establish some dominance in that area with multiple members, and now this Gold Fury, this Primal, is about to spawn. But is it just did they not go get a free pick to be able to start it? They didn't really. Yeah, if they could have known that 12 gauge was right there on the corner by himself, they probably could have picked him and made this a free pull. But instead, they just don't have any pressure now. They put all that pressure on that side of the map, and they have nothing to show for it.
yeah, I'm a little bit surprised that they backed off as hard as they did. I really think they could have pulled gold and like tried to force a little bit of a fight here, at least a little skirmish after what happened earlier. I think that's kind of the way they're going to have to play this game to kind of keep it as even as possible. They are down 4K gold. This game is closer than last game. I mean, this game was ending, you know. So Asgard Okami, this isn't in their favor this time around. I think the Kingdom need to realize they still have the option of forcing things a little bit here. But overall, and maybe we see it here, there's the X-Ball ult. They turned off the lights. They have the Thor dunk coming in, and Thor dunk's onto Diego. Diego under half health here, but the ult comes through. The Aegis for the Thor doesn't matter. And you know it's not a fun time if you're a jungler and you have Beach Aegis. That's all I'm saying. That is a rough time. Vector's rotating in here. This could be devastating as the current assault goes hard here. And this is what we saw last game with the current assault. If it hits multiple targets, it just opens up so much. Inside dashing into the enemy team. Vectors comes in with a huge I'm the monster on the Bajan putting out the damage. The crush comes through too. And now the Kingdom is just almost practically TKO'd as an entire team here. And this mid T1 tower seems to be the call. I have to imagine they go for a Pyromancer or Gold Fury as well. It looks like Gold Fury will be the call here as they move to the left side, and there's no way the Kingdom make it here on time unless they all jump into a Horus ult and make it. I still don't think they make it to this Gold Fury, but this could be a play here by the Kingdom, rotating to the right side. Are they looking to go for the Pyro, or are they looking to go something a little bit bigger on the map? It is the Pyro they're going to settle with here.
I am going to put the blame on to Luke for that going so poorly. He's diving down on Diego 5 levels down with 10 flat pin, 15 flat pin, and 10% pin. That's not enough for going against a naturally tanky solo laner that's got, what, 120 fizz procs at this point just by leveling. You know, no actual protections built in. You don't have enough to deal with it, and that was just poor decision making from Luke, and it really cost his team. So I'm hoping he can bounce back, do something good for his team here in the next, I don't know, what, 5-6 minutes or so before this really starts turning ugly.
I mean, the good news for the Kingdom is they have 2 Rudic bombs, and that could go really hard here. So that's something to kind of watch out for. I think, you know, you get those whether it's in a objective fight, a team fight, at a tower or Phoenix. I think in any of those situations, it definitely goes hard. But if I'm the Kingdom, I have to start worried about the fact of using them to try to secure a Fire Giant, and that is not an optimal way to use them. So we'll have to see how this ends up going here. I do agree. I think the play there by Luke did cost them a little bit because you're trying to solo ult into this Hades, and Hades is going to do a lot here. We do see that, you know, Just Kyle has picked up the Drowning Ankh, which in my opinion goes really, really hard against the Hades.
It does, but are you going to be close to Hades that much? I mean, it's just going to be interesting because, like, Horus is usually this guy that wants to be out in front and setting up and causing some issues. Now, obviously, you do have Thor and Guan to do that with their ultimates as well. But I love the item. It makes a lot of sense into this Hades, and obviously, it's going to hurt Might a little bit as well too, or Mate a little bit as well too. But I don't know. I don't know if I would have gotten anything different necessarily. I'm not sure. Like, they have the shell already. They don't really need per se like anything else. I mean, a bracer could have been nice for this Merlin potentially to have play around with, but I think if you're going to be playing in the back line with your carries, then yeah, it's probably going to be the best pickup option.
I'm just kind of wondering here, you know, we're seeing them kind of position around. What do you think the Kingdom needs to get here? Who do they need to pick to be able to pull a Fire Giant?
I think they need to pick. They got to stop going for Matt, first of all, because every time they've gone for it, Matt's gotten out pretty much every time. And he's just been too tanky for them to take down. I mean, again, like, there's not enough penetration on this Thor right now to be able to do any damage to a god that he's the same level with. That's a support. So they've got to pick either vectors or they've got to pick inside. I would probably say inside just because of the auto attack damage that he can do to this Fire Giant. But speaking of, it's low.
This is huge. Asgard Okami get it, but man, that could have been a scary time. The Kingdom walked up as 3, and I think they could have went for a little bit of something there if they wanted to and caught them off guard. Luckily, Matt pops his ult, and those rivers kind of block out the vision there of the Kingdom, make it where maybe we don't walk in to a Yamoja ult. But they definitely showed up. I appreciate that. They're not going to let it go for free. They're down 6,000 gold, but they are playing this relatively well. The biggest deficit here is support. I mean, the Matt diff here is kind of wild.
I'm just surprised they didn't send this Guan Yu in on the horse to try to maybe get a cheeky steal with while you're in the ultimate, and then just kind of like walk away with that. Because either way, you're walking away, right? But if you steal it, then you're making Asgard feel like they've got to commit to killing you for doing it, and then maybe you catch them over committing. Right. But instead, they didn't do that. They just walked. They just relied on Merlin RNG to really potentially steal that or a hammer damage on time to get that. I think they could have just done a little bit more to possibly made that a little more chaotic.
No, I definitely agree. I think anytime you can get a chance to cause a little bit of chaos in this type of situation, and you're not like super behind, it has to feel good. And sometimes those chaotic moments can really open up the window for you.
Yeah, they definitely can. When you're down I mean, before that Fire Giant, it was 6K, now it's 8K. After getting, you know, a couple objectives and that Fire Giant. Once that happens, I mean, you can really flip a switch on a team. You could be behind all game, and then suddenly you're pretty close to even, or now you start putting doubts into Asgard Okami's head. But instead, we're in a situation where they're being very, I'm going to say, ballsy here and stepping up to defend this T2. And Asgard is respecting it, and I'm not exactly sure. Maybe they just don't know where the Guan is. I mean, not the Guan. I'm sorry. Maybe they just don't know where Thor is, and that's why they're not going in. But oh, great hammer after the wall here. Could it start some
Oh,
frustrations.
Luke
here
is
for
up,
Asgard.
and Luke dives in on the four-man ultimate there. Diego goes in the ultimate, and they have to use the rivers here. Look at Inside, though. Inside turning around. Good damage onto Just Kyle here. Just Kyle's poked out, has to leave. 12 gauge in the back line. 12 gauge looking for something. Should pick up Just Kyle and does. And now St. Thomas running it down on the X-Ball here. Gets a double kill. 12 gauge is in the back line, though. Asgard Okami can reconvene on this if they so choose. It looks like everybody's going to fall off here. And just respect the fact that, you know, they got one, the Kingdom got two. We're not going to give them more if we don't have to.
I feel like the Kingdom could have kept pressing in mid lane there. Like, yes, I understand 12 games coming from behind, but I would have wanted to get Fire Gyro off of one more person. They're not going to end off of that. They might get T2 in mid, but they're not going to be able to end without having that Hunter there. So I feel like they should have pressed W a little bit more, because worst case, I mean, it's just going to be another reset. You get fire off of another god, but I mean, it just falls off just now anyway. So maybe that was the best call.
All I know is that's a four-man Thor dunk, dude. That is a insane play there by Luke. Have to highlight that. I think it's been, you know, after we had a little bit of a rough play by him earlier, to turn it around and hit a four-man dunk is kind of wild.
That's what I was saying earlier. I mean, maybe this so later in the game he can do something to really help out his team for what he's done so far, and be able to have a massive four-man dunk like that and really cause some havoc. At least get one pick, and it's on the best pick possible. That's definitely a massive win here. Also, they did early in the fight cause Hades ult early, and he canceled it super early as well. So they didn't even get much of an ultimate out of Diego that time. So there was just a lot of value out of the Kingdom there for everything that they put into that.
Look at this. The Kingdom have all 5 people here at the Fire Giant. I don't think they're very aware of that, as 12 gauge is backing, and still Asgard Okami are kind of floating around this area. But again, they're not on any vision. I guess they're on one ward. Inside was, but the Kingdom don't really have any idea where anybody is but Diego at this point. But look at what this position is. Diego gets absolutely ran at, and now the rest of Asgard Okami starts pouring in, but this could be problematic. It doesn't look like Duke's going to go up in the air here. Luke decides to stay down. St. Thomas is traveling behind Bajan here. They're moving towards this fire demon, trying to decide, hey, can we pull it? Can we bait a fight here that's going to go in our favor? And this is where you have to be careful. You're almost 30 minutes into the game, and if you do a wrong pull and get caught out, it could be very, very problematic and end very swiftly like last game did for Asgard Okami. And at this point, Luke the Duke backs on the Thor. Ultimate is up. Really, everybody has ultimates right now except for St. Thomas. Had shut those lights off in the last little team engagement. But Asgard Okami now pressing forward into the jungle, looking to try to cause a problem here. Get that extra vision up as well. Now they'll back off.
Yeah, definitely have to back off here, but there's 3 bombs on the Kingdom side here, so even if things don't go their way, maybe they can find a way to kind of maybe cause some havoc here. But I mean, we'll just have to see what happens. I mean, there's a lot of situations that could go on. We finally have enough penetration out of your Thor to really do some decent damage now. Having this Heart Seeker online, having now 25% pin. Well, honestly, I forgot that the pen changes happen, so now it's less than that. Oh gosh, I gotta remember that.
Such funny numbies they picked too.
Yeah, I understand the numbies, but my brain forgot that everybody
poked out hard here. And it sometimes makes you wonder at this point where you're dancing around the Fire Giant, if no one's going to pull, if everybody's playing super cautious, is it to your benefit to just send your ADC over, pick up Oni Fury, and then come back over? Obviously, that's going to be a go button for them, but Asgard Okami's been doing a pretty good job of stalling them out whenever they want to do something, because they do have an 8,000 gold lead. But if you can send someone over to pick that up, get that extra pressure, and not lose the Fire Giant, just keep pressure there until the AC comes back, and then trade a pick or two, that's a huge swing in your favor. As Luke's going up in the air, this could be another massive dunk. Let's see if they decide to group up. Luckily for Asgard Okami, they don't, but Luke dives the back line. Doesn't hit anybody. In fact, just has to go ahead and hammer away and then eats some damage afterwards. But Fire Giant's been pulled here by the Kingdom. Vectors comes through along with 12 gauge and puts down a massive amount of damage. Asgard Okami steal away the Fire Giant. Diego picks up Luke on the other side. 2 gone for the Kingdom, and this is not going in their favor. Vectors hits a huge crush here. 12 gauge jumping on in, putting the damage on the Bajan now. And now Asgard Okami, I decided not to chase this. The blink is gone on the Guan Yu, and a grouping towards the mid lane is where Asgard Okami will go to pick up a mid tier 2 and possibly more. What a huge play there by Asgard Okami.
That's an enhanced Fire Giant. You have 5 members versus 3 here. Go to the Oni Fury is what they're doing now. I almost think I would prefer to try to pressure left and then back up and punt it if I have to, but they're going to safer route. They want to get this Oni minions pushing everywhere to guarantee that there's going to be a member from the other team in each lane having to deal with trying to fight through those minions, push them as far away from their structures as possible. So overall, the safest play, it's a smart play. We'll see if they can execute off of that, off this attack with the gold all day. All just started from Fire Giant, from Oni, taking tier 1 down as well. Might see some builds finish off here. Got a Soul Reaver and a Pendulum going out for Vectors. That Pendulum passive is just so good for a god like Scylla, just giving her even more power for those abilities, for Crush and for I'm a Monster. It's just insane to think about. You've got a Shelter, and now you've got Protector of the Jungle for 12 gauge, so he can really, if these fights do go back to jungle like we've seen for most of this game, then he's going to have an advantage for dealing with this Merlin, dealing with this X-Ball. Yeah, Thor has it as well, but he seems to be putting himself in bad spots, and it's not working out anyway. So I can't say that the upgraded starter item for Luke is a advantage for him. So we'll just have to see. This we do see that Bajan's gone this axe. Which axe is this? The Warrior's axe or is this the other axe? I can't tell.
It's Sundering.
Sundering axe.
Yeah.
I meant to say. I said Warriors. I'm an idiot.
You mean Axe of Animosity?
I was thinking. That's right. They do
They
Axe
changed
Animosity.
it, yeah.
Dude, I hate playing solo so much that I stopped paying attention to what those items do now. So.
I get that. I understand that on many levels, and it looks like Inside bought the proper cowl, bought the leader's cowl, the better one.
Yes.
So shout outs to that.
Better one. And it's now working on the dominance to finish off too if we get that far into the game. They're currently 35 minutes in. All 3 birds are up. Get a split push with the Robin on the left-hand side. This mid bird is down below half.
Yeah, they had good pushes here in every single lane, which is absolutely huge. I mean, they get most damage off of mid, but they did have lane pressure in left and right as well, thanks to 12 gauge and Diego. Now the Kingdom just have to figure out how they want to mount their defense here to fight Asgard Okami, because as of right now, it hasn't panned out too well for them, but a defense might be able to go their way with the help of a Phoenix.
Yeah, if they can pull off a defense here, they could possibly get mid tower, mid Phoenix as well. But that's going to take a lot of resources to even get that far. And the outside lanes still have tier 1s. They're barely tier 1s, but they still are tier 1s, which means that Titan is even healthier because of the more structures you have on your side, the tankier, the healthier your Titan is going to be. So with them having only Phoenixes available for their side, that Titan is pretty weak right now.
Yeah, Asgard Okami have played this really well. Not over-aggressing. Really slowing down the game so they can get these enhanced Fire Giants and playing it to where they control objectives. I think this has been really well done by them. Someone almost even say textbook, oh my god, Vectors put down the damage on Masaki here. And Luke decides to go in, but now it's turnaround damage on him. The Aegis is gone. He tries to go up into the ultimate and put down by Inside. The Kurtanos doing work here in game number 2 just for a different team yet again. That is the first kill there for Inside, but I still think the ultimate is going hard. Look at this now, though. Diego is back, and No teleport for a way back in, so I'm pretty sure the Kingdom are well aware this is a now 3v4 as St. Thomas backed for them.
Yeah, absolutely. It is a 3v4 now with Luke being gone for 30 seconds. It just ensures another Fire Giant, though, more than likely. I mean, Vectors came close to dying in that last fight, but did not. Was actually able to survive at the very end. But this Crush laying on the ground, it might be too early unless, yeah, it's a little early, but nobody's around.
12 gauge dodge, but Diego
there.
turns around. But look at the amount of damage Diego's putting now. He picks up 1 kill, picks up 2, picks up 3. It's a triple for Diego. This could be problematic now, but now Bajan's here too. And Inside steals away the Quadra. But that's a Dia side in favor of Asgard Okami. The only one that's going to be up here as they siege is Luke on the Thor. And I'm not sure that that's enough to really do much. Might be able to pick up Diego here. No, Diego is off the mark, and that is going to be a bird down here in favor of Asgard Okami. And this is absolutely huge. The only person that's going to spawn is just Kyle in 25 seconds, and he's not going to be able to do anything. That is game number 2 for Asgard Okami. And this is going to take us to a game number 3 between the number 1 and number 4 seed.
So you're telling me that Hades has 2 triple kills in this match?
Yeah.
Holy. I mean, this pick is just so good. I mean, it's one of the 3 best solo laners, but if you pick it, you definitely have the pressure against the other ones that are available. So, but being able to have the impact in the team fights, having a team fight Hades is so good. Like the lane, of course, we talk about has more pressure. Yeah, everybody sees that. But when a good Hades and a great Hades is separated by the impact in team fights, to be able to get 2 triple kills, that just tells you that Diego was able to have enough impact to make this Hades pick worth it. Is this something that gets banned now because of that kind of impact from Diego? That he got 2 triple kills on this solo lane pick when the previous game he just wasn't quite having a great performance. We'll just have to see what they end up doing in the third game, picks and bans.
And one thing I wanted to touch on that you brought up during game number 2 is the idea of this Pendulum of Ages. And I was going to mention the one thing I really, really like with Pendulum of Ages, if you're going that route, is Perfected Relativity. Like, they just go so well together. And the movement speed and ability cooldown reduction and all that good stuff that comes with Perfected Relativity just feels so good. But just a really clean game there by Asgard Okami. Much different than what we saw game number 1. Game number 1, they get beat in sub 21 minutes, and game number 2 goes to almost 40, and they hold on to it. So a really good showing there by them. Look at the wards, man, just crazy here by both teams. And
I just think the difference in those 2 games is game 1, Asgard gave up a really good healing draft and did nothing to it. This game, I think they went to what they do the best and put it to the test against the number 1 team. And I think the number 1 team was lulled to sleep thinking, oh, we won in under 21 minutes the first game. This next one, we're just going to pick strong early, but we think we're going to be able to do something. You know, I'm not saying that definitely happened, but it could have happened. Maybe they thought it was just a big matchup. Right. Now we're facing a game 3. So now this is not a best of 3 anymore. This is a best of 1. That's a quote that Supersonic Blur says a lot of the time when this happens. But it's just so true. This is going to mean so much. The winner goes to finals, and I don't know. I mean, we're just going to have to see how these picks and bans go for me to really think about what's going to happen.
I just need to say 9,000 player healing by map.
Wow.
That's a lot, dude. But before game number 3, I'm going to take a quick break, and we'll be back in about 2 minutes.
Word.
SUPPRT, oh hey, I hope he's on my team. Carefree,
Kefri Bezos. S-U-P-P-R-T, oh hey, I hope he revives me. Kefri Bezos. Come on, Kefri, you can do it. Release OP and there's something to it. Met us, why? Shell us now. When I die, you're the rising dawn now. War flag and benevolence and gift. Other gods can get abducted, steal their kills, take their titan. Come on, Kefri, get 'em! All right, Chad, I'm back. I just wanted to play Kefri Bezos and take a stroll out of my chair for un memento. But we are just waiting for Majin to get back, and we will hop into game number 3. But hopefully, y'all are doing well. Spotify link. I actually don't have a Spotify link because I wrote it myself, and I don't have like a Spotify creator page because they cost like $70 or something like that. I can't remember how much they cost. It was some amount of money. Maybe I should do that at some point. I have another song, too. I have the Dans and Burrow song. I can play a snippet of the Dans and Burrow song, but I can't play much of it because of DMCA reasons. I'm going to need that because I was vibing. Yeah, dude. I got you. It's based off of the Jeffrey Bezos song by Bo Burnham. And then I have another one that is instead of Cotton Eye Joe, it's Dans and Burrow. It's another banger. But that one I can't play on stream due to DMCA reasons. Let me see. I think I can play a snippet of it. Let's see.
If it hadn't been for Don's Burrow, I'd have 6 a long time ago.
Where did you come from? Where did you go? Where did you come from, Don's Burrow? All right, that's all I can do. I can't afford any more than that. I uploaded that one at one point, and it got taken down, so. But yeah. That was a fun one. That one took me a while. The Kefri Bezos one has an actual YouTube video with it. Hold on. We have time. I can go show this. You can go to my YouTube and see this. My son came up with the idea of Kefri Bezos. Shoutouts to him. Shoutouts to Luke. But I think it's still up here. Let me look real quick. Dude, I have 2 pages of YouTube videos. By the way, the cast from the other night, the Asgard Okami cast I did, I think it was like Friday night, and then this one tonight will get posted to YouTube. Those will be up probably Saturday. If I can get them up on Friday night when I'm late, I will, but I'll try to get them up by Saturday. Dude, where the heck is my Kefri Bezos pit? Where is this at? Yeah, there it is. Hold on. There you go, chat. There's the. Oh, we got to add.
What if you could do?
What if we couldn't? What if we couldn't do that? Whatever you're about to say. What if not?
Page by page.
Yeah, page by page.
Hey everybody,
anyway.
Blaze McBain here.
Look here.
And I'm holding this.
Look,
Kefri
I
plush
used the
from
Kefri
SWC
plush for
bundle
this.
song. I would make, and I.
Look at this.
S-U-P-P-R-T, oh hey, I hope he's on my team. Kefri.
Dude, dancing Kefri, dude.
Bezos. S-U-P-P-R-T, oh hey, I hope he revives me. Kefri Bezos. Come on, Kefri, you can do it. Release OP and there's something to it. Met us, why? Shell us now. When I die, you're the rising dawn now. War flag and benevolence and gift. Other gods can get abducted, steal their kills, take their titan. Come on, Kefri, get 'em!
All right, anyways, that's enough of that. I enjoyed making that song so much. 113 views is criminal for that masterpiece. Yeah, unfortunately that has a lot of views because of the fact my students found out I streamed, which was a fun time within itself. So it was I had a fun like week or so last year. It was a fun time. Anywho, this weekend I already released the new podcast episode. It came out yesterday, if you want to go check it out. But we will have Majin on the next episode. We're going to talk about Albion Giants League playoffs that are currently going on. Obviously, you're watching those right now. You probably, if you watched Saturday's stream on AGL, or sorry, Sunday's stream where I cast with Spirited Book, you know, we have a lot of stuff going on AGL playoff-wise. We're going to be talking about AGL playoffs. We're going to be talking about AGL Season 11 and things that are coming in Season 11. If you have questions that you would like me to ask Buusha or, you know, get answers to just in general, you can send them to me in a DM. You can join the Discord. You can post them in guest questions. I'll happily answer them for you. But that we are going to be talking about Albion Giants League on the next podcast episode, so make sure to check it out. Should be a good time. Usually you get me and Majin together, and it's a good funny time, dude. We get off on some interesting rants from time to time, but I think we'll try to keep it pretty informative. I'm sure we'll rant a little bit, but Majin's making notes of what we're going to talk about, so he's making my job as a podcast host much easier. I just know if anybody has questions, throw them out there. I know there's been a lot of discussion, not only in Captain's Chat, but just in the Captain's chats per division. So if you have something you want to know about, make sure to let us know.
Yeah, let us know.
Mods is back.
Yeah. I had to take a couple minutes there.
Yeah, I needed to walk around for a minute. I'm not going to lie.
Yeah, that's exactly what I needed to do. I needed to walk around, go refill my water, make a sandwich, and just enjoy it. For...
make a sandwich, dude. What kind of sandwich you make?
It's roast beef. It's gonna have cheese and mustard.
What kind of mustard?
A light bit of mustard. Just standard yellow for this one.
Oh, not the Dijon, not the Grey Poupon.
Nah, I don't like the Dijon on roast beef. Personally.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Interesting.
That's just that's probably a bad take, but it's my take, and I'll stick with it.
No, I can live with that. I get it.
No, it's more so like when I think about roast beef, I think about roast beef and cheese, and I want a little bit more than that, and I've got yellow mustard, so that's actually the reason why I'm going with it. This is
interesting. Whenever I think of roast beef, I never think of cheese.
So I don't know where the difference is for us, but that's just how my brain has always worked, I guess.
It's okay. I don't eat cheese on like anything. I don't like it.
Like
obviously like pizza, mac and cheese, like things that have cheese on it already cool, but like if you're like, hey, right. Blaze, you want a hamburger with you want a cheeseburger? I'm like, nah, man, let's have a hamburger. Like I don't think cheese adds anything to it.
It just depends on how good the cheese is, whether I want to add cheese or not.
I can understand this. Is it melted or is it just like a cold slice of cheese?
Well, tonight, because I'm lazy, it's going to be a cold slice.
See, but, I can get behind that. It's when people melt the cheese and then like it gets too melted, you know what I mean? Like where it's like congealed. That's my problem.
I don't melt the cheese, but what I'll do is I'll put the whole sandwich in the air fryer and let it go for a couple of minutes.
Yeah. I can get behind that. That I can respect.
Yeah, so it's not melted, but it is warm, but it's not like it's not runny, if that makes sense. Like it's
I got you.
Yeah.
It's like a slight melt. I got you. You know what else might be melted? Our brains after game number 3. Are you ready to hop into game number 3?
You're absolutely right. They're melted. Yes, I'm ready.
All right. So I don't think 12 Gauge really appreciated me talking about how it took him like 7 autos to take down a ward. I was well aware that X-Ball kept him from seeing that ward, but it doesn't change the fact that it looked like he autoed it like 8 times before it fell. And all I got out of this is that Ravana's hands aren't that strong. His punches are weak.
Are you saying he's pulling punches?
Some may say that. 12 Gauge said, fun fact, I learned that in that moment. But first ban here for the Kingdom is they're like, hey, I don't want to see that Hades again. They ban away the Hades.
That means they don't have a Hades player.
So no Diego on Hades this time around.
Nope, not this time. So that just means to me that either A, the Kingdom doesn't have a Hades player, or B, they do not enjoy. Um, I'm sorry, or B, they just don't want to play it.
Yeah.
Maybe they, but I don't know. When it comes to Hades players, there's not that many that are out there that are good, let alone great or elite. So maybe when you're in a situation where you have to win to advance the finals, and you're not that comfortable or don't really want to feel the Hades out, then maybe you just get away from it. You go a different route. They also ban Hercules. We've seen that every game. I'm pretty sure they banned Afro every game. We see this Kali and Vamana being banned away. First Vamana, we had a conversation earlier this week, but it's for my purposes, I'm gonna be saying Vamana just because it's easier to drop that in the hat, because I've been saying it for 10 years that way. But
Yeah.
the hell gonna be the last ban here.
Yeah, I didn't expect us to see Kali or Hell again after game number 1. And they're going to take away the Emoja from Matt this time. And, we highlighted the 9,000 player healing last game. I think that's probably a good move here. But this leaves Kurnanos and Terra open for Asgard Okami here. A little bit of a switch up. And how do you think the Terra fares over the Emoja that Matt played last game?
So Terra is one of the best gods that Matt plays. But also, I mean, Yamoja, obviously we've seen and saw it's really good. Because they have Yamoja, that means they can't go Nox as well, more than likely. So picking a Terra up here is pretty free. It allows your mid laner to pick, or your solo laner to pick in that third slot. Here, since you do pick up the Kurnos back up. But you kind of pick the poison here. Like, if you're not going to ban one of those gods away, if you're going to go to a game 3, I mean, you're pretty much going to see Matt go to one of those two. From what I can recall, I think in past seasons when Jing Qian has been really good in the port, he also opted for something like that, or like an Atlas. But when it comes down to this type of game, I'm not surprised to see the Terra here. I think she got better with the changes off the patch. I think a lot of people.
100%. I think that got drastically better.
Yeah, a lot better. She's not an instant pick. She's not like a have to pick this god, but in the wrong hands, she can do so much to the enemy team.
Now we see the Ishtar, the god that's, basically went untouched the whole entire set, finally makes an appearance here. And it's going to be St. Thomas on this Ishtar. Ishtar, I think is one of the better hunters, even after a nerf to the, best part of her kit for clear. But you're into this Kurnanos, and Kurnanos does have a good way to deal with her from time to time. So we'll have to see how that plays out as the Horus gets locked in here as well. For the third game in a row, we will see a Horus. It will swap back to the solo lane this time around. So this really leaves Asgard Okami with a bunch of openings here of, hey, we could go ahead and pick our solo. We can get our counter matchup now. We could wait and pick up something else we need before the phase happens. But what are you expecting to come through in the next part of the ban phase as we're waiting for this pick to come through?
I think if you are Asgard Okami, you ban the Chang'e. You don't want to see triple healer again. You lost the triple healer last time. It was Hell, Chang'e, and Horus. Now, this time it could potentially be Chang'e, Yamoja, Horus. So, I don't know. I don't think you want to lose to that again. They are going to elect to pick up Yu Wong, so they are going to have decent anti-heal into that. So it could be looking to ban that away. But Agni is going to be taken away instead, so not even thinking about Chang'e at the moment. But Robin on the other side.
Yeah, 12 gauge will have to play something new this game from the looks of it. But Chang'e is banned away here, and I'm not surprised. Like we talked about, you have the triple healer. The only other option here is like put Guan Yu in the jungle, and I don't think there's any way that happens. I think that would be a terrible decision. Odin, the last ban here for the Kingdom. Are you excited to see the Odin ban here?
I don't know that I would have banned Odin because the Chang'e is off the table, Hell is off the table. Unless you're planning on picking something like Raw that needs to be away from Odin. but I don't think you're picking Ron the Terra you want anyway. So I'm a little confused by that ban. I maybe a different solo ban, maybe a Kakalin, maybe in my opinion be a better ban overall. But also like there's not one single way for the top 3 to get out of the old Nolt. So that's probably what went through their mind. But the Serket being hovered on Asgard's side, Thor being locked in. Now we saw Diego on this last time, so. But again,
This has to be 12 gauge.
Mean,
this has to be 12 gauge on Thor.
Yeah, I was going to say, it doesn't mean that this is going to Diego because, again, Flex pick, and last time it was a Horus solo. It didn't get to do anything effectively for the entire game. So I think this has to be Thor jungle, and I think they're saving the solo pick for this last slot based on what we've learned in this match so far.
I mean, as soon as I saw the comp that Kingdom have drafted so far, I thought to myself, dude, I think 12 gauge goes hard here on a Thor.
Oh.
And it gets locked in. But look at this Merlin Heblo lock in here for the Kingdom. I mean, that is a lot of damage.
Okay. I completely forgot this Hebo was left open. It's been banned second phase both games, or maybe it was first phase in the first game, second phase, second game, I think. Left open here. Again, this is one of Luke's best gods, and it's a little scary for me, but this Guan Yu's being hovered, that's probably gonna get locked in. I would have to imagine having double heal with Terra Guan. Yeah, that's got to be the pick here. I'm a little worried that if... Okay, so in my opinion, I wouldn't say that one jungle has necessarily diffed the other in any of these games. Like, yes, Luke went 608 on Kali, but I think that it was just fortune for that game. I think it was fortune last game as well, because Luke had some bad mistakes, and I hate to say that again, but I mean, I don't know. We'll just have to see. I think this comes down to, again, I think who makes the less mistakes in this matchup, because both teams have 2 healers on the team, Yamoja plus Horus on one side, Terra plus Guan on the other. The junglers both like to get active. These are active picks. Both mids are pretty safe, but Merlin doesn't do that great into Thor. Thor being able to land on top, yes, you flicker away, but then you get stunned. Then you try to walk away. You still have the hammer. So we'll see here. This is an interesting matchup. We finally see an Ishtar. Does that mean that we're going to see a win for the Kingdom here? Are they going to move on, or is it going to be Asgard? We're just going to have to find out.
Let's load into game number 3 and find out who takes this set and moves on to the finals of the Sharrix Conference for Albion Giants League, which will be a best of 5 game set.
Yeah, that will be an absolute all part of the best of 5 there. We're just gonna have to tune in and find out next week what's gonna happen there, but I am excited to see what can happen here, and I don't even know who's going to set the pace in this game. I feel like this is going to be a more chill early game, more relaxed early game, because in game 1, a mistake happens at level 2, and it caused the game to completely go one direction. And then last game, it was a little bit quieter, but I mean, Asgard got up, I think, 4-0 before there were any kills on the Kingdom side. So expect it to be kind of quiet early. We'll see if that actually happens or not, because I mean, we're gonna have some rotations here for sure. Which, hey, we finally see a non Eye of the Jungle here, and that's gonna be on Luke.
Yeah, I think the thing is here, though, Majin, you mentioned that they all went one direction, and, like, obviously, like, when they went solo, it was just a better time. So, like, who's the Harry Styles of these comps?
Just gonna have to find out by watching the game.
Man, just not giving me anything today. That's fun.
That's the real Hoobastank for you.
Yeah, it is. Oh no. Quite unfortunate, dude.
Same direction.
This
one
this
direction.
is yeah
Had to
this
do it.
this is my last resort. Oh no! But we do see again the death toll start here for St. Thomas, which again I'm not too surprised to be the sustain feels pretty good here. It makes sure gives you a little bit of an easier time to make a mistake. You can be able to recover for it. We do see a final difference here too, where just Kyle's going this benevolence, Matt is going this Sentinel's Boon, but other than that, there's just the differences in the jungle items here, which obviously, you're going to see when you have a physical magical jungler some differences, but I do think you actually do need this Boom Buzz for Hebo. Like, you need the mana recovery, and that is maybe going to play some differences as the game goes on. We'll just have to see. But going into these duo lane, is there a duo lane you favor? Is there a mid 2v2 you favor? As we start off the game here,
I think it's the opposite. I think that the duo favor goes to Kingdom, but I think the middle two goes to, oh gosh, what's going on here?
Yeah, this is a scary time, dude. This is a level 2 Horus versus a level 1 Guan. Oh, and hits the stun. There's the knock up. Oh my goodness. And Diego walks back in, no shot that he thinks this is a good idea. I am scared for Diego, dude. He has to back off. There's no way.
First of all, coach movement. You always go your two into this.
No
here, but,
way.
Oh,
Bajan made a mistake. If he hits level 2, oh no, he's a full level down. This is actual insanity over here in the solo lane.
Yeah, he's got a whole entire wave. He's gonna lose all that. No, the minions show up in time, so the tower's not gonna touch any of these archers. 6 archers here. That's big for the program here.
Yeah, but it's big for the amount of damage that's going to get put on too. They doing it! The minions killed him! Diego gets put down by the archers and now is going to lose a massive amount here to these archers. Just not a good look here. An unfortunate fall for the solo laner of Asgard Okami. Definitely not how you want to start the game here. This Horus in the solo lane for Bajan has just been an absolute nightmare for Asgard Okami. And
so
now...
I was trying to say that a teaching moment, I always go Warrior's Will first into Horus solo because you can't get your damage really interrupted there, and Horus will interrupt Palo Assault all day, every day. So I think if you can just live at level 1 with just doing Warrior's Will and just touching the melees and walking back away, I mean it's to me that's the best way to do it. Maybe others will disagree. Maybe they have other ways they prefer, but we'll just see. As in the right lane, they're already coming back over. 12 gauges come over. They almost got him.
Yeah, very close here. They are actually going to be able to get a blue buff invade off, though. But look at this rotation in by Luke and Masaki. And 12 gauge. Is 12 gauge just going to be able to walk? No. Oh, no. Bad pathing. This isn't good. 12 gauge. Okay. Has the hammer. Gets out. That was a little bit of a scary time there.
Hey, 12. How about decide where you're going?
Yeah. I just imagine just like, it was the lag, dude. It was the lag, The lag kicked in there and just made him teleport back to the right there. Unfortunate.
Yeah, he got too close to the bayou on a Friday night, and there was just too much cell signal tower going on there,
Unfortunate, really. Sometimes it do be that way.
It do be.
Oh my goodness. Vector's here on the Yu Huang. Not something that we've seen yet this set here, but it is a very, very safe pick, but also can put off some really, really good damage here. So some similarities to the Scylla. We've seen a lot of dueling dragons, or at least I have, while casting the past week. And that ultimate goes hard.
I tell you what, I haven't had enough time put in. I still can't aim the thing. I don't get enough time to play. Like I've had some time to play, just haven't been like in the mood to do so. But man, that ultimate, whenever you get that lined up proper, it does so much. It can change the entire team fight just by pushing this person this way, this person that way, maybe pushing two people together into a wall and causing, some havoc there, landing the root after the fact. It's just this pick. I think it's one of those gods that has a kit that's designed like MajinBuusha that's always going to be good no matter what you do.
The ultimate comes out here by St. Thomas. This is good damage put on the Matt, and this could be a spill for Matt if everything doesn't go just right. There's the River's Rebuke, but now it's the damage coming through. Inside tries to save the support, but isn't able to do so. Back on the right side, we do have a solo lane fight happening again between Bajan and Diego. Diego now a level down here.
Yeah, still hasn't been able to make up that whatsoever. Not able to get any coups, not able to get any of the cooldown buffs. And it's all gone to Bajan here on the solo side on this Forest, which, again, this is the second time we've seen him on this pick with 12 gauge. When the stun and mid gets the beats.
That's actually really big here for 12 gauge, because now you can come in with a dunk wall combo and probably take this Merlin out if you know where he's at. So 90 more seconds for that to kind of happen here. Actually, I lied. I'm way ahead of myself on that front. Holy, 150 seconds. My brain not firing on all cylinders, apparently, which does happen from time to time.
Well, it do be like that sometimes, as long as it's not like that all the time. We've got some problems with 12 gauge over here bothering St. Thomas, but St. Thomas does get that HP shield buff. So not going to be able to steal that away this time.
Right now, nothing really too crazy going on. There is 1,000 gold lead here for the Kingdom, but nothing too atrocious otherwise. Just slight level leads here and there. Probably more like half level leads than actual full level leads, but still.
You know what I wish they would do?
What's up?
I wish I had a match of the day where it was like every god that's in the game, you play them as they were released. So
oh my god, yes.
So
like we're both
so
gone,
fun.
dude. Oh my god.
Because I was just thinking about like Thor 3, how in the old days they used to just spin and spin and spin and spin and spin in a circle. Like that would be cool, but like it makes me think about stuff like release Quad and release Vulcan and
release
like,
Baron.
If they release Baron, if they had released Bologna, like if they had that stuff with these items today, like how good would those picks actually be? Like I want to see something like that. I think it'd be cool.
Luke ends up missing the ult there. This goes under Vectors. Now Vectors is low, but looking to turn around the damage. 12 gauge is here. Masaki is in trouble. No beads. And now here goes 12 gauge. 12 gauge is up. Who is he going to go on to? Here's the question. He's still up in the air hovering and decides to go on to no one.
Actually,
back out
he's going on the Vector trying to kill his own teammate. I guess it just doesn't work that way in this game.
Unfortunately not. You cannot just ult your own teammate and stun them. You can wall them off, but that's about the meanest thing that you can do to them.
That's my favorite thing to do to toxic teammates in ranked. Like I had this thought this one time, just constantly DMing me, and I saw the enemy jungler coming, so I just walled Thoth off so that way when he would try to dash backwards, he had nowhere to go.
Oh my goodness! I had a Ymir.
That was 4 or 5 years ago, mind you, but it was so funny.
I had a Ymir keep walling off my damage at Phoenix's when I was in ADC a couple weeks ago, and I was like, for the love of everything, please just let me in this game. And he would and that was the same game. I had a Fenrir that would ult Ragnarok and run the people behind us.
So Vectors, this was 3 ranked games in a row. This guy, I get paired on this team 3 times in a row. He feeds his brains out, but he's constantly being toxic and yelling at people, so he deserved it. I don't give a fuck.
Let's see. 12 gauge is hovering here on wards though, so nothing's really going to happen here, I don't think, unless St. Thomas makes some type of crazy mistake. 12 gauge spots this out, I think, realizes what's going on, goes ahead and backs away. While meanwhile, back in mid, Vectors goes up in the air. I don't think there's going to be any way to punish that. And now it's just back to farming a bit.
Yeah, and 12 was just messaging me this. I didn't even think about it, but Hebo's got some rough situations going on here.
Yeah.
Uh, 3 knock-up immunities on the other team.
Yeah.
That is so rough.
It is.
Oh,
Some would say it's a time to be alive if you're a Hebo.
I mean,
Imagine this, because
definitely-
it's already happened in this game. Imagine you go to ult a Yu Huang and they fly up in the air and you just fly under, and you're just under them. There you go. That's already happened too.
Talon Assault Berserker's Barrage, then there's Terra Passive, then you have that. So it's your target basically has to be Cernanos because of all that stuff, right? And
Yep.
that's the only one that does have some sort of way to deal with your knockups. So that's just such smart drafting. Like they knew that he would make that pick. That's
Yeah.
That is so smart. You don't see that enough in teams.
No, you definitely don't. I mean, the most you kind of see is like, oh wow, they have 2 knockups. I bet they lock a wheelish, and then they do, and you're like, oh man, that's crazy. You generally don't see like the counter argument of like, yo, they have a knockup. Let's just draft gods that can't be knocked up. It's kind of like when people lock Hercules and they leave Jingwei open. I'm like, you realize you just made it where the ADC can fly away from you, right? like the ADC gets knocked up and you're like, oh, sick, I can dash further now. It's a time for sure.
That's
I mean,
funny.
just some drafting ideas here, and I think that's one thing that a lot of people don't get the experience of getting to do, because like your only options to do draft are ranked and comp, and some people don't want to make that leap to comp, and then the drafting in ranked just isn't the same. But there are a lot of just ins and outs with picks and bans, so it's always fun to kind of see how they work out here, and some of the draft logic that's going on.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that's definitely some super good logic. So I'm just constantly looking at these level situations. There's only slight levels for the kingdom here.
What a nasty wall, dude. Gets the beads.
That was super solid. That was really good wall from 12. I was just about to say that it's just it's very small leads across the map for Kingdom. There's not really this, like game 1 they had 3 people that had leads, but they were massive leads. There were like 8 levels total, but about 6-7k.
Yeah.
This time, right now, 12 minutes in, they have a 2.5k gold lead, and they have like maybe a 1.5 level lead at most if you combine everything. Like it's just super like close for this time of game compared to when they had a lead last time, which was the game 1.
Yeah, game 1 kind of just spiraled out of their control, and I think that was a big like picks and bans diff, right? Like they get 3 healers, there wasn't a lot of anti-heal. Really trying to get to those 3 healers and be able to kill them was a problem. I think this draft is drastically better for both teams, really. My question mark still kind of relies around like what's going on in mid here, where like you have vectors on a more heavy burst mage than what Merlin can be. Merlin obviously can pump out damage, help shred objectives down, but it's not the same as what you're getting from a Yu Huang. So that is something I'm watching as I'm really curious about this mid matchup. I think ADC wise, God wise, I think it's pretty even. I think the same thing what's going on in support. I think both players are relatively even, especially like God and player. I kind of look at the mid jungle, and that's where if I'm either team here, I feel like that's my win condition, right? Like getting my mid laner ahead is going to go absolutely hard because of how much burst they do. And then if I can get, good dunk in by 12 after inside hits a nice ult, and St. Thomas put down here on the Ishtar. Good play here by the carry and jungle of Asgard Okami. But I kind of hinging.
Now Kyle's in trouble with 4 members around him. Gets rooted, gets the wall.
That's a dead
Terra's
Yamoja.
ult comes off. Yamoja tried to get through there.
No way.
Just off the mark. If it connected, that was a dead Yamoja, but just not able to do it. Did get 2 ultimates off of that to be able to live there. So that's pretty tight, but for them. But no, they might not even live. There's
no way.
It's just outside of max range. Oh no.
I am big sad.
I literally have my hands on my face.
Like
right now.
I don't understand how did she get out? Like I am confusion.
I am confusion. I am brain dead. I don't know. Like, I am just so confused at everything that just happened. Like, how Kyle got out of that is absolutely absurd. I mean, it had, like, props to Kyle for figuring that one out. I feel like 10 out of 10 times you're dead there, and he just found that 1%er of a chance to get out, and it just worked out.
And Diego under a lot of pressure here from Majin. Majin doing a lot of work on this Horus yet again. I really haven't seen someone play a Horus solo this effectively, especially in multiple games of a set.
The last person I can think of AGL-wise that did it effectively was probably Snoozism, and that was a solid year ago. That was in the middle of winning his third straight championship in a row. And it was on that pick quite a bit. But speaking of picks, 12 gauge finding Luke the Duke here.
Yeah, Vectors misses another Dueling Dragons. Really, it was we'll call it, facilitative zoning to set up 12 gauge with a kill there. So 12 gauge, gets a free kill thanks to Vectors getting some good zoning and potential there.
Do you think that if Yu Wong had... Oh, actually, go ahead.
Oh, look, there's the Duncan by 12 gauge. 12 gauge goes in, but now St. Thomas turning around the damage. Inside gets a great ultimate off. Kyle and company are turned into boars, and Inside picks up a kill into St. Thomas. Kyle should fall this time around, but again is running away. This is absolutely illegal what's happening here with Kyle. Kyle able to get out again. 12 gauge falls. The Emoja lives, and now it's a Emoja with a Merlin, and behind there's a Hebo. It's not going to seem to matter. Luke comes in. There is one. There is two. And it should be a triple kill for the Hebo.
How exactly did 12 gauge die there? Because the last time I saw him, he had 1 HP after getting hit with the Merlin Void Stance 1. Did he, like, try to attack a camp or something? Did he go back in? Like, I completely missed how he died.
I do not know. I have a feeling he got tapped. He got looked at funny, some would say.
I feel like he said Ooga Booga green buff and died on the first hit, but I really don't know. I really have to go back and watch that now at some point.
That would be just very unfortunate, as 12 gauge is here trying to dissuade this, and he does. He gets it. That's a Gold Fury steal for 12 gauge on this Thor. Throws the hammer, says, "This is mine." Man, that's crazy. It looks real familiar.
Here's the problem. Now he's going to say that Delph was calculated.
Yeah, it was calculated so he could go steal that gold.
Yeah, that's what he's going to say. That's what he's going to say. I can't wait for that DM later.
I played E-Shell the other day in mid. First game I ever played. And I stole Fire Giant. First of all, I am not surprised, sir. Second of all, I love that character. That god's really good.
I am going to play that god so much when I get the chance. Like, this is the first mid god we've had in a while that I'm like, ooh, give me. Like, Merlin's probably the last mid. I was like, oh, I really want to play Merlin. Just hear me out. Polly. And just build that and have fun. Yeah, for sure. It hits hard. It's just like with her kit. If you can land the knock, if you can predict the knock up, you automatically hit the rest of your kit. Yeah, if you so like some people are saying you go 3-2-1 or 3-1-2-1. I think you could make an argument to go 2-3-1-1. But anyways, Kyle getting poked out here again, but it's Kyle, so probably not gonna actually be under any real threat because he's been able to walk away from the last 2 or 3 deaths that have been there, 0-0 and 5. But that's a blink in by Luke here. And this could be problematic for the Kingdom if Asgard Okami decide they want to try to turn this around. As of right now, that doesn't seem to be the case, as Diego is now in mid. And a fight could break out at any second here. 12 gauge is now around, so it's a 4v3. Because if you look over on the right side of the map, Luke's like, yo, there's a blue buff. And that's kind of where we're at on that front. 12 gauge picks up a kill. Kyle finally falls.
It's just only taken almost 20 minutes for the support to, you know, finally stop getting away. 12 gauge up in the air, looking for someone to come down on it. Misses the ult, misses the wall. And that is a very much alive Luke the Duke on this Hebo. And Bajan now getting aggressive here. They get the beats Aegis out of 12 gauge. There's a wall, but it's not good enough as Mizaki finally gets another kill here on this Merlin at 2-0-3. Has to be feeling pretty good. It could be a triple at this rate. Matt in trouble. The Hebo is here. Bajan gets the kill, and that's 2-0 in favor of the Kingdom with now a 2,600 gold lead.
Yeah, absolutely. And now with them having this, they can get this Pyromancer. Now Diego's around the corner, but not going to be anywhere close to that. And no, they've got about a 3K gold lead right now. It doesn't feel like they have a gold lead, and
no,
it doesn't feel that way to me. Like, it feels like this has been like 0-0 the entire time, right? Like, I feel like there's been like a very, very small gold lead, but it's been 2.5K. I felt like it's been like 500 total, just by the way this game is played out. I mean, I don't know. This is pretty. It's pretty weird to feel that way.
Yeah, I think it's just the way Asgard Okami's been playing these fights. It doesn't. They've been playing them. I don't want to say aggressive because I don't feel like that's the right word, but they've been, you know, they haven't just been passively standing there letting the Kingdom run at them. They've been going to get farmed. They've been initiating fights themselves. They've been, you know, playing against them. And when you see teams that are down, whether it's slightly or a lot, that are playing that way, where their mental will not be shattered, they're going to play the type of smite they want to play. It makes it feel like there's not that big of a gold deficit. There's not that big of an XP deficit because they're sitting there and saying, you're going to play the game and have to play it my way. Little
Yeah.
battle over the Gold Fury here. And as soon as a pick falls down, this Oni Fury will most likely be secured. Diego now there teleports in on the Guan Yu. It's now an official 5v5 here. St. Thomas putting out a ton of damage onto Diego, who's now under half health. Bajan trying to get in here on the Horus. Great wall here by 12 gauge to just block off Luke, and this is actually kind of big because they've gotten a lot of resources out of Kingdom. Obviously, you know, it's mostly an ultimate from St. Thomas, but when I say resources, I mean in the sense of like cooldown wise. They had a nice little advantage there for a minute, but they are looking for a pick here, and I think once one of those picks, maybe two, happens, it's going to be a Gold Fury.
Yeah, and the relic situation is relatively pretty much dead even here. So 12 gauge is going into the air though. What's going to happen here?
Comes down, lands on St. Thomas. St. Thomas is half health here. Now Luke is in trouble. 12 gauge goes back. Vectors picks up the kill. And now it's St. Thomas shredding people down. Inside gets a great ultimate off. 3 people were transformed. And now Bajan, Kyle, and Misaki are turning around and putting the damage back out against him. And it's just going to be kind of just a null point at this stage of the game.
Yeah, just another null point. This not even going to Gold Fury is a little shock. Well, no, they didn't have the St. Thomas there, so never mind. You do have a Merlin, but you would like to have Merlin and your counter there so that you can get it done within 5 or 6 seconds and not have a threat of a steal. So just not quite comfortable enough.
We have a 4-person grouping here in mid. Diego goes in, isn't able to really achieve much damage, but Matt might be under pressure here.
Yeah, it might be. So just gotta be careful of vectors. I don't want to step too far because you could get picked if they turn back around. But the thing is, Umoja's only got enough for one ability right now, enough only for one ability. So the advantage right now would go to Asgard if the fight did break out because you don't have abilities to really press out.
Yeah, just a little hustle and tussle, just kind of poking each other, trying to get some feelers out about how they're going to turn around and fight each other here. But it's been relatively slow, probably I'd say almost the last 15 minutes at this point of just kind of being more chill. I'm guessing
Yeah, I
they're just
don't
trying to hit to
disagree.
level 20. I think that's the goal. They're like, let's get to 20 as fast as we can. We'll just fight with full item builds.
Well, in theory, the Kingdom have a better level 20 team. You have a Hunter with a steroid. You have Merlin, who is going to have Soul Reaver and maybe a Soul Gem later on, maybe Magus. You have a Hebo, so you have somebody that can burst. You might not be able to effectively use the knockup, but you can still get the damage off of that. So we'll see what happens.
Oh, huge all here by Vectors. And now 12 gauges up in the air, too. This might be a massive dunk in. It is a double dunk here. Bajan, just Kyle under pressure. Vectors gets a double, and they're looking for more. St. Thomas is behind them, just free casting away. And their Vectors pumping out the damage now.
Yeah, and that's a sign for Luke, knowing he's going to die no matter what he tries to do there. Tries to lead them away from the Fire Giant side to go towards the tower and to kill him. But now, I mean, it's a 5-on-2 advantage. You do have Horus ult if you're the Kingdom, but that's all you've got. So, looks like he's going to go to mid instead and just not worry about this first Fire Giant. Not going to be enhanced, so going to be a standard Fire Giant. So maybe you can play through that. But Asgard Okami just takes the first gold lead of the game after being down about 2.5K for most of them.
Yeah, actually kind of like this is a huge confidence booster, right? Like this gets the momentum going in their favor. They're going to go ahead and strip away. They have fire. They have pyro. They're going to Gold Fury. And then they're going to probably look for towers afterwards. They're really trying to make sure all these neutral objectives go their way so they can not only to get the gold lead back, right? But now try to extend it a little bit. Blink in by Bajan, but it ends up hitting Matt when trying to get to the Gold Fury pit. And now it's a chase by the Kingdom, and this is a dangerous place to be. On the right side of the map, you have Diego pushing a tier 2 tower down. Meanwhile, you had half of my classes today. Oh my god, my brain. I had a really good analogy and it stopped. It's gone. Yep.
Dude,
It dealt with split pushing. It was so good, bro. It was so good, and my brain just stopped, and I'm so mad. That's what happens when I work a 14-hour day, dude.
Trust me, dude. It's 1 a.m. right now, Eastern time. I've been up since 7 a.m. Eastern time. The brain's melted a little bit, but being melted is Diego on this Guan Yu just losing all the health, but all the 3 members show up. All of the Horus ultimate.
He finally dies. Finally. Holy dude.
But look at this left-hand side though. You've got Inside and Mate going to take down at tier 1. Looking at tier 2, but now you've got all these members that have backed. And I don't know that they can press for it now. Now they just have to kind of back into the jungle. They're not careful. They're gonna get cut off. No, they're not close enough to be cut off. So, gonna be able to get away. But Bajan's still there, following a little bit of a pursuit.
I had such a good analogy, man, and my brain just stopped. I am frustrated. Oh, great ult here by Just Kyle. They have to go ahead and pop the Phantom Shell, but look where Luke is. Luke gets a good ult. Oh my god, Matt's wall is just better. Matt is just simply better. Holy, dude, that is insane play here. But there comes the Dueling Dragon. Vectors hits another one. Luke, the Duke, is put down. Asgard Okami now turning around, running it towards the mid lane. All 5 members are up, and look at where Diego came in at. Now on the horse. There it goes. He gets the beads out. 12 gauge jumps in. He hits the wall. He hits the ultimate. Now Asgard Okami running it down. Everybody is low except for St. Thomas and Bajan. They can't afford to turn around and fight this for too long, because if Vectors gets a good amount of damage off, anybody gets a good amount of damage off, this game is over. This could be the end of the set at the rate it's going. I think Asgard Okami are going to slow it down here. They're not going to play too aggressive, but they do know that they have the Kingdom on their back foot here. And no, it is the go button. A 2-man Dueling Dragons. 1 dragon for each person. And it is Vectors coming through, getting huge damage off Diego, diving a Phoenix. He doesn't care. He does not care. All 5 members of Asgard Okami are up. They are pushing down the mid Phoenix. They are running it down mid lane like it is their job. They're now going to back off. They're going to go grab the camps. Fire Giant fixing to respawn here. They're about to go to the red buff. Pick that up as well. And I think they might try to go ahead and back beforehand. Maybe they don't. They have a little bit of time. They don't have to be here at this very moment. Matt, 12 gauge, are going to go ahead and back. Vectors should as well. Inside says, hey, I got some gold to spend too. This is going to be a full reset here by Asgard Okami. And now it's a running it down towards the Fire Giant. The Kingdom are in the vicinity. I don't think they can step up to this at this point. It's going to be enhanced. It's going to be a rough defense. But if you lose either of these two players, I think the game is simply over. Unless Luke hits a 5-man nasty Hebo ult, which I don't see coming.
I tell you what, we were just talking about being tired, talking about our brains dying, and it's not like just losing track of focus. I tell you what, that wall blocking that Hebo ultimate really got me to sit up. And then after that fight happened, with what went through, sitting up in this Fire Giant, enhanced, very low.
There it is. The Kingdom steal it away! No, wait, the 12 gauge hits a 2-man ult. This is absolutely devastating for the Kingdom. They're getting ran down. Misaki's in trouble. The Horus ult gets a couple out, but it's not enough. Diego chasing this down. It doesn't matter that it's enhanced fire. Asgard Okami said, cool, you want an enhanced Fire Giant buff? We don't care. 2 gone. A 3rd will fall here as the wall comes through from 12 gauge. Gone. 3 down. A Fire Giant still doesn't matter if you lose the game off of it. And now it's Bajan. It's Luke. Can they do anything to try to defend this? There's another ultimate. The beats come through for Luke. Luke's looking for something. Can he find anything? Matt finally falls. The Dueling Dragons were good, but they weren't good enough. The Titan is half health. The Dueling Dragons actually weren't used. There it goes. Boom. Luke is gone. The health bars are low, but they pick up the other one. It's a deicide. But now the game is over. Game, set, match. Asgard Okami will move on to the finals of Albion Giants League Sharrix division.
Wow. So, I just, oh my gosh. So they steal the Fire Giant. I think it was Merlin 1 that had been sitting there and got the last tick off. And then they say, oh, did you just take that from us? Let us just kill 3 of you in a row and just mow down the middle lane that we've already taken the Phoenix from and marched to the Titan room. Unfortunately for Luke, did not have the ultimate available when defending in the Titan room, had already used it prior. So when 3 members made a triangle and stood side by side, there could have been an opportunity to get a lot of damage off there. Just didn't have the cooldown, so couldn't do anything with it. But the Season 8 Giants Conference champions, they are now trying to win another finals here to get crowned one more time. Asgard Okami, the number 4 seed, moving on to the finals.
No, that was sick. That was a crazy turnaround there. I still don't remember what my analogy was, dude. I had such a good point going. And I don't remember what it was. So I do apologize for my brain going off the rails for like 4 seconds, but we'll never know. What we do know, though, is Asgard Okami move on, the Kingdom go home, and we'll have to find out who they're playing against later on this week for the finals.
So Friday at 9:30 Eastern, number 2 Sailing Sunny supporters taking on number 3 Anti-Ward. So we're just going to have to see which team is going to be the one that's going to face Asgard Okami. If you're not familiar with the rosters, excuse me. If you're not familiar with the rosters, Anti-Ward is made up of Shepard, Ambrose, Omniro, 24 Squirrel, Sir Spoon. If you're looking for the roster for Sailing Sunnies, it's the Free Dunk, Moose, Bathwater for Sale, Lineat Kyber, people that have played together for a long time. Been playing around the AGL for a super long time. Just three out of 4 experienced teams in these playoffs making a deep run, and we'll just have to see how this goes on Friday night.
Yeah, I'm excited to see. I think I have a really long day, much like today, but a little bit longer on Friday, so I'll be looking forward to seeing the results for that from when I get home. A heck of a set here. Majin, thank you for joining me. I know it was much later than we anticipated, I think. But this is a good
It's all
set, dude.
good, man. It happens. I will make a few quick mentions here.
Yeah.
The Glacier Conference, the number 1 seed pool party takes down harassed children to make the finals. The number 12 seeded Totem Tyrants take down the number 1 team, Ted. Oh my gosh, the name just team adversary. Take the number 1 seed falls in 2-0 fashion to the number 12 seed. And I would say, normally a 12 seed's a shock, but this Totem Tyrants team has been around for 2 years straight as the same roster. They have a lot of experience playing in the Ted Listens Conference. They had a rough regular season, barely made the playoffs, and they were able to stretch some things out. So a 12 seed going to finals is absolutely insane, absolutely for sure. But I think it speaks to the volume of how balanced that conference was this season, and I absolutely freaking love it. Last mention, 9 seeded Steel Tigers of the Narwhal Conference take down number 5 Diaper Babies, so they are on to the finals as well. So we know 4 teams going to finals. We just got to find out the other 4 throughout the weekend.
Sounds good. Sounds good. Well, I'm gonna go to bed. I was originally gonna stay up and play a game. No, we're gonna go raid Ash Raven Blue. Majin, I appreciate you joining me, man. Chat, I hope you guys enjoyed the games. If you're not following, you should follow. That'd be pretty cool. We're on our way to 600. If you ever want games casted, feel free to reach out. I cast on a regular basis. My track season is coming to an end late next month, so I'll be available for more casting. My busy week is the second week of May, so that's probably the only week I won't be able to cast too much. But feel free to reach out. As I mentioned earlier, these VODs will appear on YouTube, especially this one, the one from the other night. If you missed the other cast I did with Spirited Book on the AGL channel, where we casted Sailing Sunny Supporters versus Black Rabbit Goonies, you should go check that game out. That set was absolutely wild too. Crazy games this past week. I hope you guys have a great rest of the week. I will see you guys tomorrow night, and have a good one. Peace.